She has a lot of hats, so I just never know if it's going to be just one of those hats that just
All
it's just
right,
a regular
welcome,
baseball hat.
welcome to
No,
the
it's a silly hat. Sorry.
Now it's a silly hat.
welcome to the Survivor Michigan after show, also known as the Silly Hat Convention, apparently. So I hope
Something's got to
you're.
be fun this episode.
I hope you brought a silly hat. We've got Anders here from Survivor Maryland, Shane, of course, from Scotty Survivor, and Aaron from Survivor Michigan, formerly.
Yeah, it was a real bummer that I was too busy with band this semester to play All Stars, but I'm really glad to be here on this podcast. This is, a pretty cool way to experience it all for me.
Aaron, I feel like if you had been on this season, you would have dominated.
Oh,
Like,
it would have
if
gone so.
wouldn't-
I mean, yeah, the
it
season would
wouldn't
have
have
been so
even been
different if I
close.
would have been on it. That would have
if
been
I know
crazy.
anything about Aaron, she works well with women, and everyone loves her.
Never made an enemy, actually.
Never made an enemy.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Not a single enemy there's definitely no enemies for Aaron. So I mean, what did you guys think about this week's episode of Survivor Michigan? Some might say one of the best episodes of the entire franchise, all of Survivor. I think.
Yeah, liars.
Some might say that.
Some might say that I am very angry right now, but not because of you, Ian, about this cast.
Can I say how much I personally love Bailey? Not because of anything coherent. Truly because she is, I would say, one of the strangest players to somehow be the biggest threat to win, and yet completely unintelligible in their game moves. She's queening. She is just every episode raising that bar.
Bailey
I mean, do you not feel like her core alliance of the girls alliance plus Cooper and Emily B, that she's not just in kind of a good spot?
But okay, her story is just insane. She creates a group of 8, immediately betrays it. She is given so much information and then goes, actually, I'm not going to do anything with this. And then whenever she gets an advantage or whatever, she goes, I'm actually going to share this with everyone to protect myself. And then she's also like, I actually don't even want to be in this game.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
My favorite is that it made more sense to her that she was like, no, Megan is definitely the type to fake screenshots, as opposed to like she
I will say
believed
that you cannot give me a good reason why Megan doesn't go to Bailey with with this text messages herself, though. Like, say what you want to about Bailey, but like, why is Megan leaving this up to why is 100%. Megan not going to Bailey herself with all of this?
You're right, because everyone else in that 7 has been so accommodating and welcoming of information Megan brings to them. Why wouldn't she go to Bailey, the least volatile of the 7 emotionally? It makes sense. I would go to Bailey and say something that might be damaging to her emotional state, and then she would react normally and intelligently with strategy. No, I don't. I get the thought of like, she should go, right? She should show Bailey, but I also feel like Bailey's just going to warp it into a way it's like, well, you can't trust Megan. You give her information, she's going to go to someone else. Yeah, this is information that'll hurt me, but like, what if I give her information? Can't trust her, phoning her out. Am I crazy? That's how I feel.
What pissed me off about Bailey this episode was that, like, I understand, like, it's infuriating when somebody, like, writes your name down, but, like, let it go. It was week 3. Like, there were not good options on that tribe. Like, let's just be honest. And Sarah was literally getting targeted by everyone. Like, she had no choice, but why are we still talking about the Jesse vote? That was eons ago. Eons. Like, they're just using these things, like,
I don't know if I can fully agree. Like the Jesse vote fundamentally just was like the key vote of this part of the game. And
she didn't even write her name down. She did not write her name down.
No, but like, she showed Bailey all these text messages between her and Nick where she literally was saying like, this move is good for everyone but Bailey. Like, if you understand Bailey as a player, you would know that's not really a good thing to be doing. Like, I'm not surprised that Bailey doesn't trust Sarah after all of this.
I get not trusting her, but I think it's like, it's extreme the way that she reacted.
Neither of them had any trust in each other the whole game. Like, the idea that they were ever in an alliance is like kind of a facade, I think. I think that's kind of what you see here a bit.
But the thing about the text, the screenshots and the text of this is a good move for everyone but Bailey. Bailey is also going to pick and choose what screenshots and what information is actually relevant. I think you're right. It is a facade. I don't think she ever actually wanted to work with Sarah. Whereas
No.
she'll see text that Sam is like, I don't want Bailey in this game. I don't think she should have a power position. She'll go, but I want to work with Sam. So actually, I don't care. I think that's what's hard is like, I'm not arguing that Bailey 7 isn't better for her. I'm just arguing her steps to get to this new alliance, her steps for why she is doing the things aren't exactly typical or expected. And so what makes her difficult is that she is just going about the game in a way that's hard for me, or I feel like a lot of players in the game, to understand and recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked Sarah's out this early, to be honest. I thought she was gonna last a lot longer. I think she was gonna be like a losing finalist just based on how everybody thought she was gonna win, but I'm shocked to see her go this early.
Crouch, you got to get voted out. You
Yeah,
can't
get voted
pick
out,
one while
Andrew.
you're still in the
That's on
game.
you, babe.
He
That's
can't.
on you.
He's going to the final 3.
What do we think about Crouch's game in this episode?
Oh my god,
actually?
can I just say, I'm sorry,
No.
but like Adam being the one to call him cocky is ridiculous because Adam is the cockiest person in the fucking game. Like it is so I can't. Sorry.
I don't want to look. I don't want to segue away from Andrew because he should have his moment, which will be the final 3. He's allegedly going to, for sure. No offense to Andrew, but this edit would never scream winner to me. The cockiness is insane for what is nothing. Like, he's so proud to have done almost nothing and be like, I put a game that no one else has done. I've been in the minority and I've had to stay alive. Bitch, every season, Erin did that. She didn't win, but
He
that
did
was
get
her
Bailey.
game
He
too.
did get Bailey back on his side with like just simply giving her hot cocoa, you know, and some good social game work. So-
Again, that's what I'm talking about, Bailey. Oh, okay, but what's so funny about Adam, I think for a long time, I kept calling Adam a huge simp for Sam. And that's not fair. There's so much that Adam has done against Sam. Like, say that they were going to do something. And I think we need to keep that involved. And it was enough that Sam was like, you're a part of my list, which does include every other person in the game that I want to vote out. All 9 of them. And that's a big
Yeah,
There's-
what do we think about Sam's list compared to Leia's list? Like, which one of these or neither of them, you know?
Neither. They're both infuriating in their own ways.
Well,
I will
what's
say
so
that-
funny, they're both gonna have to like end at some point. Like Sam's is a hit list, and so by the end of the day, like every single person's gonna be on that, right? Like you're gonna have to vote everybody except 2 or 1 person out, and he's literally
Yeah.
just like slowly adding the entire cast to that list.
What's ironic is
Leia kind of did the same thing where she was just like, okay, these are my 3 people that I'm definitely never voting out, and then she was like, oh, you know what, you're cool too. You know what, you're cool too. But then at a
What's
certain point, if it gets down to that, then it's like you're gonna have to write down one of those people's names. So in theory, Sam's works better.
So let me ask you guys
What's-
this: do you think there was someone who should have flipped this week, like for their game?
Adam.
Adam.
In what? Who does he flip with, and who does he vote out?
I think the smartest move, in my opinion, unless someone else wants to go, Leia is never, ever in a million years going to keep Adam around. Like, Adam's not even on the list, as they have identified and spoken about. So I get the I want to wait another week mentality, but when you wait so constantly, you're just going to lose the opportunity. You're going to go home.
I agree. I think this was Adam's chance to get out Leia. I think we were kind of getting an edit that like Adam's on the bottom of the 7, and who was saying that? Leia. I also think I just wanted to say that I think it's pretty ironic that we have Leia's list and Sam's list, and Leia is like the only person not on Sam's list at this point. She's not on it, right?
I don't think she is.
She's not.
I'm pretty sure she's
Yeah,
the
I don't
only
think she
person
is.
not
She's
on
not
it.
on it in this episode. Yeah, she's not on it
Oh.
in this episode.
Oh,
No,
Oh.
she's not on it. She's not. On it.
Ian, is there anyone else not on Sam's list?
I think Bree wasn't on it.
Yeah, I think Bree isn't on it. I also think Nick
And I
isn't on it
think-
actually, but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
about
Nick
that.
was. I don't think Nick was
never
on
on
it.
it.
No, I think you're right.
Um.
Other than
Also,
Andrew
where
on
do you
it?
guys?
I
where
don't.
do
Is Andrew on it?
Yes, I think he was
Let me
out of
ask
this
you, where do you
episode,
guys
wasn't
stand
he?
on the whole, friendship angle? Like the game was the game. It's all pre-gaming. There was no survivor involved. I'll give the defense to it, but let's hear what you guys think about it first.
I think that there's I agree and I disagree. Like I see where the majority is coming from of like people did things to like to justify being on the bottom, but also like at the same point, like it's hard when you haven't been like for somebody like Sarah, it's hard when you haven't been in school with these people for the past 2 years to like really break through. Like when it comes down to the end, like are they really gonna bring her? I don't know. I go back and forth. I think that the people that are getting voting out definitely did things to justify why they weren't included, but also like you can't really like predict Bailey randomly flipping when she just made random group of 8 and then was like, nope, JK. Like they couldn't have seen that coming.
The thing I would say is I think that everyone comes into the game with different advantages and disadvantages, and there were people who definitely had more advantages. But the Nick and Sarah in particular had shots to really do something about it, and I felt they made the wrong choices. Like voting out Jesse to me that round, they could have taken a free shot at anyone. And really, Leia is the person that, like you're saying, Anders, Leia is the person that needs to go home for so many people in the game. Because this whole friendship alliance, all of this, it's really predicated on Leia. The only thing keeping like Cooper and Bailey and Sam working together is their trust in Leia. Not
Literally, Cooper and Sam were against each other.
That's exactly right. Cooper and Sam try to get rid of each other tons of times. It's Leia that's keeping them together. So, like, to me, Leia was the person that just needed to go. And I think they could have done that, and it would have been much better for them.
Yeah, I agree.
I know. Let's just say I have a little bit of experience with people choosing friends over maybe strategy at some points. Aaron might also be aware of it. But here's what I would say in defense of it. On some level, college Survivor is different from real Survivor because there's only so many people out of college, so many people interested in playing Survivor. And especially on an all-star season, people know each other. What's important here, it's not that friendship is unfair. That's Survivor. Some people just have advantages in certain ways. It happens in real Survivor. It happens in college Survivor. The difference is in college Survivor, you can see these things. Roommates. You can see friends who've been together for years, especially Survivor Michigan, which seems to have drinking parties every fucking weekend. Like you're always around each other. You should be able to see this. What you said, Ian, and what Shane said, like you can see these alliances. You can see these friendships. If you don't make a move to cut that out early, it will affect it later. Like, I'm sorry, Sarah, it is fucked up at this point where it's like the bottom people can't do a lot right now. You had opportunities early in the game, which you chose not to do because maybe it was for your own benefit. Early on in the Red Tribe, we see Will, Bree, Leia, whatever, who gives a shit. These people are like, we're best friends. We're going to work together. You could have killed it there. You didn't, and now it's come back to bite you.
Another thing that I think Aaron could speak to this as well is that there's a great irony to me in that now that a lot of these people are out, we can talk more openly about this, that Kevin kind of single-handedly tanks about half of the game. Kevin, I always said that what a lot of these people on the bottom needed was like a Jordan Schubel-esque figure who could like really had the social capital and like the political capital to like really do something. And I always felt that Will was someone who could have potentially been that person. And Nick and Sarah get close, but they're not quite close enough. And something that wasn't included in the show is that Kevin, the week of the Kevin and Will vote, Kevin shortly before that had actually been coming to Will and pitching to him like, I'm really scared of mostly season 1 and 2 people. I'm scared of the idea of Cooper, Sam, and Leia just running this game. And he has Will so convinced that Will has all these confessionals discussing that maybe we need to team up with Aaron, like maybe we need to team up with Jackson. Maybe we can't do all this sort of stuff. And then Kevin immediately flips on Will, teams up with Bailey and Cooper to vote out Will, then spreads an alliance that tanks Jackson, Megan, and Aaron's game. And then Kevin gets to merge and complains, then has a terrible plan to get Jackson, that gets Jackson voted out. And essentially, as far as I can tell, Kevin just tanks like half the game, basically, and then creates the exact scenario he wanted to avoid. This is a theory I've posited. Aaron, I'm curious what you think this is.
No, I could not agree more. I mean, you show it in like the episode after I'm voted out, where I'm sitting with Sarah after Sarah like tells me and Jackson what's going down at that tribal, and I'm like, this is all Kevin's fault. Like, yeah, it was. I think it was it was interesting because, and that's not even a thing of like we're all friends, you know what I mean? Like that's not a whole different like friend group that would be coming up against that. But it is people that are like slightly newer to the friend group or like not as super ingrained. But Kevin absolutely single-handedly tanked the games of a whole bunch of people, including himself, and that's just like the most Kevin thing to do, like possible. I just wish that I wasn't one of the victims of it, but
Right.
you know, it happens. And I
Look,
love Kevin to death.
But here's
I
the
love
thing.
Kevin.
I also think had Will stayed in, are we so positive Will wouldn't have worked with Sam and
Leia would have
Emily
wanted Will in
Leia-
that group.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that Will is like guaranteed to be doing this. I'm just saying that Kevin tanking all the people who like might have done something or like were trying to do anything is like, I don't know. The fact that he had Will convinced about this and that early on, Will's like kind of a paranoid player, makes me think that Will, I think he was like potentially someone who he's not someone who's going to just like sit complacent in something. But that's just my theory, you know. We obviously don't know. You know?
I agree. Look, I am the first to say I adore Kevin. I love him. He's great. I think you're 100% right. Like he tanked everybody's game. And it like kind of has led to this whole like friendship debacle in a way because I think all of their like bonding over all the shit that's happened like wouldn't have happened if Kevin didn't start like this huge chain reaction, I think, way back when. Like it all these votes lead to another at a certain point. And like yes, there is the whole friendship element. Everybody's gonna be friends with people, like it's gonna happen, but at a certain point, like the actions do have consequences.
I
I'll
do
also
think-
say this, and that part of the reason I think it gets brought up so much is that the people on the bottom in this season of Survivor Michigan are really good at Survivor. You know, so in every single season of Survivor Michigan, there's a merge vote comes together, and there are one or two votes where it sticks together, and then it blows up. And I don't think this season was any different in that regard. But the people on the bottom are just better players, and they have something that they realize they can like pick at to bother the people on the top. You know, and like I think this was a really like smart thing to like pick at basically because you can see like part of it also that I think is interesting is like Adam's the one who really made this all happen, and he wasn't like when this alliance gets formed, the pitch wasn't friendship, but then it becomes that pitch once like Leia kind of takes center stage of the alliance, and she's not even the one who put this alliance together, but that's what it comes to dominate as. I just think it's a very interesting dynamic.
I think what makes it so much more relevant too is that because I don't think all of them are like besties or whatever or more friends than they could be with Sarah or Andrew. I think at the end of the day, it's that Sarah, Andrew, and Megan all have good pitches. They're good players, like you're saying. It's that even to the people who aren't best friends with all of these other people, still won't do anything. It's the meme of the guy poking the turtle and saying, "Do something." Like,
Yeah.
Oh my! I saw a comment of like, yeah, because Adam had this confessional where he was like, stop crying and make a move, and I'm like, who are you talking to, yourself? Like,
And-
what do you
and that's
mean?
that's what's annoying.
Exactly.
It's looking at Megan or Sarah and going, well, I don't know what I need to make the move. You do something. What do you think this pitch is?
Exactly.
This is a pitch.
Yeah, they need
Yeah.
people to do something with. Like, it's not for lack of trying. It's like anybody in the majority that's saying like, oh, well, it's your fault. You should be trying to make a move. Like, they are trying. Nobody is like biting,
And,
and
like,
that's the problem.
Sarah literally tells Cooper, like, I want someone to work. And Cooper goes, well, you can try, but just don't mention me. It's like, you're not giving her any leverage. You're holding a carrot over it with a stick, and you're asking her to keep going without any leverage to work on other people. If she can't say Cooper's in, no one else will join in. No one wants to be the first.
To be fair to to Cooper in that circumstance, I do think that he probably was paranoid that it would get back to him, which was indeed Sarah's plan. So he has valid grounds to not want his name be attached with that. So I think that was a good read by him. However, like of course it's frustrating to watch, like you said, Anders, like they're not really giving anybody anything. So it's
They're not
like
giving.
I
Yeah.
love Cooper and Sarah conversations because they are both so like they both have such good reads and they both know like on an above like bird's eye view where everything is at, but they have such different motivations and they're just trying to like subtly manipulate each other into doing what they want to do. And I just think that it's so funny. They're my favorite pair to watch, which like
yeah.
can't
But-
anymore, but
What I was gonna say about you go, Anders.
It's also like I think at a certain point, people are trying to play the 7, like get them to say something so they can use it against them, because we're on week 2 or 3 of this. Like, this isn't, oh, they're immediately sabotaging all angles out. It's just like, no one's giving them anything. So they're just going to take and try anything they can. Like, would Sarah immediately flip on Cooper if he had just gone with her? Maybe, maybe not. Like, would Megan have been so against Sam if he was actually interested in flipping, if he was actually going to do anything? No. I mean, like, what do? You're on the bottom. You ask for something. They give you nothing. You have to make it up, just like Cooper did. He wanted Andrew to stay, so he just made some bullshit up.
Yeah, I mean, that scene of Cooper, just to me, that's like someone. It's like someone spewing just sewage out of his mouth. Like, Cooper's pitch to them that like Andrew needs to stay so that he can prevent a flip next week, when Cooper's been like trying to flip the entire week. Just like, I thought it was one of the funniest pitches I've ever seen in my life. Like, just unreal levels of bullshittery, like crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe they bought that.
That's the way, like, that's one thing about Cooper is he approaches every conversation with such intention, and like he knows how to get exactly what he wants out of any individual conversation. Like, he is so good at handling people on an individual level, like 100%. So good at it. It's insane.
I think I'm
a Cooper stan to the end. Sorry.
I think that what frustrated me about the whole like Megan Sam conversation was like, I felt like, yes, Sam was wanting to give Megan information, like when he was like, oh, you just used my information against her. But like, did he really want to help her, or did he really just want to like have her as a number? Like that's what I was like. So
well,
like,
I think from his point of view, it's both. I think from his point of view, it's kind of both. Like, he wants her in the same way Cooper has Andrew right now, you know? Like, I don't think Sam has somebody on the bottom right now. And so he's seeing that as, oh, well, it's good to have that person, you know? I think that makes sense.
The difference to me is that Cooper and Andrew seem like a solidified pair that they've had since the beginning of the game, that had been working together constantly, versus Sam and Megan have been all over the place.
Oh, like, sure. I mean, I think he's trying to build he's trying to rebuild the relationship. We see it obviously doesn't work, and like their working relationship is so toxic here.
Also,
speaking,
it's funny because like Andrew has a lot of delusion or self-confidence in himself. So even when he's in a bad position, he knows Cooper's giving information. Like, Megan's been fucked over by so many people in this game. And so she can't just trust Sam, especially trust Sam. Like, that's crazy. And so I just think it's two different situations. Like, Andrew knows Cooper will be honest with him. Why would you ever trust Sam? Unless you're, well, I don't know for how much longer. Unless you're Adam, like, why would you trust anything Sam said? Or I guess Leia.
I will say, like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, obviously, like, I see Megan's point of view. Like, she's made some questionable decisions as well. Like, I think that not all of the blame is on Sam. You know what? Let
you talk about the Magic School Bus.
I mean, the people want to know. The people want to know. Okay, so there is not a good reason. The answer is just that every person this season has their own theme music, and that music just spoke to me for Sarah. It was like it was started with the arts and crafts. Like, I wanted a really good piece of music for the arts and crafts that was like fun and like upbeat and like especially because this is gonna sound crazy to people, but in the early first couple episodes, I really was trying to make people like Sarah, because I was worried like, oh, she's someone they don't know that much. Like, she was only in one episode of season 1. Like, I wanted her to be this huge fan favorite because I thought that's what she like should be. But I was like a little nervous. Maybe people were like, oh, why is there a first boot on All Stars? Like, that's dumb. Like, how come we couldn't invite Camila instead?
Why wasn't it Richard?
Why wasn't it Richard? Yeah, why wasn't it Camila? So I was like, all right, the first couple episodes, we're giving Sarah like all of these like, you know, fun whiteboard confessionals, the Magic School Bus music. Like, right off the bat, we're gonna make people be like, oh, I really like Sarah. And it worked because people really liked Sarah. So, but yeah, people probably think that's insane, but I was worried that people wouldn't like her. They'd just be like, why is there a first boot on an All-Star season? Because there are some people who think that, you know. So I was like, yeah, oh, but we gotta hype
Sarah's not the first person I looked at this cast of and went, why are they on the season? Sarah was fine with me.
I agree 100%.
But yeah, everyone has their own theme music, and yeah, that one was just one of the more obvious ones, I guess.
Love it. That's fun. Yeah, I enjoyed her so much. It made me sad to see her go out. And obviously, like, people were talking about in the comments, like, oh, like, Andrew has like mad balls to not play his idol. Like, obviously he knew he wasn't going home. Like, Cooper told him. Like what?
Yeah.
Like we all know that that's what
I'll say
happened.
that I will say that like I know there've been a lot of accusations of like unnecessarily tricky editing, and I do feel bad about the like Andrew fake out in this episode. They're like, oh, it's gonna be Andrew, he's gonna play his idol. But you gotta come up with some way to make it look dramatic, and also
No,
it does play into the whole idol storyline, which is still not yet resolved. But
yeah.
I think
Shannon,
sad
come
that,
in here. I need to know the same information again.
I will
just
say
sad
that's not for you guys. That's for like my dad. You know, like some people watching this don't remember stuff, and like it's been a million episodes since that. Like I
I'm
know
sorry,
for a
your
fact.
dad watches this?
Yeah, and he does not understand it sometimes, and like he, needs sometimes. I hope he doesn't
Ian,
watch this part.
is
He
gonna
probably
sound
won't,
this is
but
gonna sound like a fucked up question. Can your dad make it through an entire episode without falling asleep?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not
Not
sure.
because they're boring. Not because they're boring. Because they're long.
No. I'm not sure. I genuinely. I'd like to say no, but I don't know for sure. I did show him the premiere. I showed my parents the premiere when I was home for Thanksgiving before it came out, and we did it in 2 nights. So that
Ian,
that might answer your question.
I will say I'm shocked because the way you made it like seem to me was that like the Pringle Idol thing was like only gonna be like a couple episodes, and it's like it's like 7 episodes now, like going on 8.
Yeah. But I think that once it's all said and done, people will understand how to do it a different way. Would have been to really suck a lot of the tension out of the story. But
I mean, I trust
in a
your
lot of different
judgment,
moments, but we'll
so-
see. We'll see. I feel like there will be there are definitely people that are just like, dude, fuck this Pringle Idol.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, I obviously like it because I did something similar, but like I appreciate it, but like I'm just like, God, I want to know.
I don't remember saying last week that every episode would be unpredictable, but again, I do think that I would never have hyped up this season if it was just like a pagonging, So like I don't know if I don't want to spoil anything, but like
I don't think this 7 is sticking together. I think
Yeah, no way.
they are 7 of 9 next week, right?
yes.
So
Yeah.
like I just don't see, even if they hate Andrew, not all of them do. It doesn't make sense for them all to, like, I could see next week being the week they get rid of Adam. Which honestly, if Adam goes out having been loyal to Sam the entire game, I'm gonna lose my mind. I really
But
am.
has he been working with Sam the whole game, Anders? Has
Stop.
he?
Oh my god, you're right. Let's think of all the times he hasn't done.
I think that's in order for Adam to win, he needs to cut
He needs to go back
Sam.
in time 3
and
months.
like
You don't
Okay,
think that if Adam
yes.
just takes Sam kind of far and then cuts him, he doesn't have like a really good argument?
No, because
no.
I think if you're gonna make the argument that you weren't just loyal to Sam, choosing to work with him the entire game and then cutting him at what 4
Or,
isn't
yeah,
exactly proving you're not loyal to Sam.
I agree.
I don't know.
think
Isn't
he
that like
needs
the very definition of the shield strategy? Like if Shannon
mean-
votes out Dale at Final Four, doesn't she win the game and everyone calls her a genius?
Sure, yes. However, what I think the point that we're trying to make is that people are saying that Adam just like does what Sam wants. So I think it would be a more convincing argument if Adam votes out Sam and then played on his own to get to the end. I think that would be much more impressive. At least that's how I would view it. Like I'd be much more impressed by Adam if he cut Sam and then made it to the end.
I'll
And-
briefly just touch on this lost hope thing that we can get back to Adam's game. Is that I hope that I really hope no one stops watching, because I do think you would miss out on a really, really genuinely thrilling and bananas end game. But I don't
Guys,
know. Aaron, do you
Megan's
have
still
anything to say?
here.
Hold on. TikTok fans are still fans. Still
True.
watching.
Don't we
keep
know it?
watching. I will say too, in defense, I see a lot of I know a lot of people are angry. I know a lot of people don't like the long episodes, whatever. Ian does the best job of anybody I've ever seen of telling the most complete story possible. Like he
Yeah.
makes sure that yeah, you're right. Sometimes the things in the episodes don't come to fruition, but they still happen. There's a lot that happens behind the scenes. And Ian is trying to show you as much of that as possible and show you every individual person's complete story. And he does the best job of that of anybody I have ever seen. This man is very talented. You need to trust him, trust in this show that you love, and keep watching it because it will not disappoint.
I 100% agree. Like it's obviously like frustrating seeing the people get picked off, but like it's not gonna last. Like we all know that. Like it's like we all said. And also too, like Ian is putting these scenes in the show for a reason. Like I have faith, so I'm trusting. I think we won't be let down.
Look, I don't want Ian to get too big of a head, so I'll be the hater. No,
Yes,
no.
Anders, that's why I bring you on for this specific
No,
reason.
look, I would never ever make a complaint that Michigan is like a badly made season. Like I know how long it takes to make anything, even if it's fucking garbage. All right, I made season 7. I love it. I don't give a fuck who hates it. All right, have your opinions. Doesn't change the amount of work that goes into it. This is a very well edited season that happens to have probably the most annoying majority alliance right now. They won't be the majority forever, but some of them will be around for a while. I don't, Sarah's gone. That sucks. I'm just hoping next week Sam goes, Adam goes, Leia goes, Bailey goes. Someone, please. Emily B. Who is she? Like,
Yeah, agreed.
I
Sorry.
think what's annoying for the most part is the people we do identify a lot with are the people on the bottom because they are explaining why they're doing things. They are making good moves. It's just there's nothing to work with. Like, there's nothing wrong with the majority. We're watching them make bad moves. Adam is making bad moves. Emily B isn't making bad moves. Bailey honestly is making bad moves. So it's just like, and don't even get me started on Sam. All right, I want to get into this. The preview for next week saying Sam just made a big mistake. He's done for. Sam has made a mistake every week and is still here. How many more mistakes can he make? It is insulting to me, to the audience, to the world that Sam can just constantly fuck everything up and still be like, no, you can trust him. Week 1, he leaks a group chat and Adam goes, I know he wanted to get me out, but what if? Last week, he gave information to Megan for some reason. It gets leaked. And instead of going, oh, yeah, it's weird that he would say this to me, it's, well, even if Sam did make the screenshots, I just trust him so much. I've got to keep him. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
I agree. I genuinely don't understand Bailey thinking that those were fake, and also like I truly do think that it was. Like we've been seeing so much talk of people within the 7 talking about how big of a threat Bailey is. Like I genuinely think that it is in her best interest to flip. Like she clearly like. I'm hoping that next week she does because it's going to
To
be
work
they're
with
gonna want
Sarah
Andrew.
and Megan, the two people who like her least in the game. Like, how does that make sense,
But
honestly, for Bailey?
At least
I
now,
Who cares?
I think for
like,
other people it
now-
makes sense to flip. I don't think it makes sense for Bailey to flip.
I don't mean like in
honestly.
this, but like if it was Andrew, I think in that circumstance it would make sense for her to flip. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
was thinking leading into the tribal council that like it was Andrew going. Like I was almost pretty sure that it was going to be him. So I was like, oh, Bailey should flip because it's
That makes sense.
Andrew. And Sarah, it doesn't really make sense for her to flip.
Do you guys
for
think Leia
obvious
has
reasons.
any chance to win the game?
No. And here's the thing. It's not because I don't think Leia has the relationships in this game to get there. 6 of the 9 are like, loves Leia. Let's keep her around. I think that Leia is one of the most condescending people in this game, which is saying a lot because I've had to watch a lot of Adam conversations and confessionals. But like the way that Leia, I can't remember who she was talking to. It was aggravating. It's like Leia will harp on and on about loyalty, will harp on and on about being honest, will harp on and on about like Survivor's such an evil game, but I'm going against it. It's like you are also being bad. Like you are a bad person too. Just because you say you aren't doesn't mean you aren't. It's just like if I was on the jury and I was on the bottom, I'd be like, I don't like you, Leia. I don't like the way you talk to me, and I don't like you. Bye.
The scene where she was like with Cooper and he was like trying to get her to like see reason. She goes, "Oh, but then we would have to lie to our allies." I was like, "Oh my god!" Like
Cooper is offering to
Survivor
flip. Cooper is
All-Stars.
like trying to tell anyone he can, like, "Yo, flip with me, flip with me."
It's All Stars. Like I appreciate Cooper trying to at least get something going. Like he's setting the motion. Like I think Yeah, Leia just pisses me off.
Leia is she's okay like snooping through somebody's room, but
Yeah,
she draws the
yes,
line at
yes.
lying.
For sure. And
I don't get how
also,
that's
let's be clear. When you have a list of people you won't betray, and it's more than 2 people, you have to eventually betray one, or else you're going to do some bullshit like, I didn't know. Like,
she she literally said this week, I will keep them safe until I can't.
What
It's
do you
just-
think would happen if Leia got her like list to the end? Like, would she just vote herself out, or like
She would
what
have
would
to.
happen?
Here's the thing: she would have to play her shot in the dark so that she didn't have to vote.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's
well,
true.
here's what the answer is. She would keep probably Sam and Cooper, and then whoever she was cutting would just be like, what happened to our friendship? Did it not matter as much as theirs? And then she would go, it's just, this game makes you such a bad person. I never wanted to do this. I told you how much I hate this game. And it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's my fan fiction.
Uh,
And then she wins.
Well, it's crazy that like she's like talking about like how like loyal and honest she wants to be, but I think like Leia is like one of the like in at least in the confessionals, she is way meaner than some of the other people. Like she comes off really, really harsh, and it's like week 1 when she clapped at Akshay leaving, I was like, where did this come from?
Cooper
Yeah.
and Leia were not fans of Akshay.
Okay, but like have at least some respect.
I
If you're
think
talking about having respect and honesty, that's one thing that
I
Leia
do
doesn't
think
seem to
almost every
have.
person on the season is like clocking each other pretty meanly in the confessionals. Like you know, I don't know. I think almost everybody is being pretty mean to each other. I don't know if I could make a list of who's being the meanest, it'd be like Kevin at the top, and then like a large gap, and then a bunch of other people. So like
But
I don't really know.
Kevin's like cartoon villainy. Like,
Yes,
Kevin
He
is,
is, but he
twirl
also
his
crosses the
mustache,
line
tie you
with-
up on a
With some of the
railroad.
stuff he was saying about Emily B, I think he started to cross the line into like actually being a dick. But like maybe that's just me.
I don't know. I'm not a big Emily B fan, I can't lie. Just because like I'm just not as invested in her story. Like
What
Okay,
do you
this
think about
is-
her plan to
this is
eventually
a
turn on Bailey?
Really fucked up question to ask, and I don't mean it in that really cunty way. What is her story?
Well, I
No.
think-
Like, actually,
Exactly.
I-
I
no.
think
I'm fully
she
serious.
has a very clear story. I just don't think it'll be
Yeah,
clear. I
clear
think,
in that
once-
it's invisible. What is it?
it'll be clear once the season is over. I think. I think
Okay,
Emily B.
well-
I think Emily B. on the rewatch will have one of the more interesting stories. Actually, that's my
I think
hot take.
where it falls for me, like, I want to like Emily B because she's still here, and I guess she isn't the worst. But it's like,
Yeah.
for me, she has done very little to establish herself as making moves or getting agency, despite being in the majority. Like, I understand why Bailey does things. I understand why Cooper, why Sam, why Leia do things, why Bree does things. Emily B, that's harder to say. If she was paired explicitly with Bailey, which in this episode it was clear doesn't want to be, then it would make more sense. But it's just like, I'm having trouble at this moment identifying what exactly makes Emily B anything but a side character right now.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, I enjoy Emily B more than I like some of the other people, but that's not saying much because the majority pisses me off. But I genuinely at this point in the game, I see a lot of being like Emily, like she's always like, oh, I need to make a move, but like, is it the right time? Like, is it like I don't want to piss people off, but then she never does it, and it's just frustrating to watch.
Never.
because
She never. Do you think she will do it? Do you think she will take this shot at Bailey?
I think she will eventually, but at the moment, I don't like. I can't see it like her winning, but like I feel like I feel like you've hyped her up, so maybe she will. But at this point, like I'm just compared to the other people, like I'm just kind of like, like I don't really see
I have a
her
question.
strategic value.
What is the big deal about like I don't want to flip like everybody was like not flipping this week, but next week. It's like what is the huge line between final 10 and final 9 where they're like, "You know what? Now I'm ready."
Here's
Like
So-
I
there-
don't fully grasp that.
I think there are some rationales for it, but I'll have Anders. Let's have Anders.
so
talk.
from my perspective on it, it's always easier to push away really hard decisions for another week. Like 9 is also an easier number to flip because it's odd, but if you actually thought I want to flip this week, you have to work a lot harder in your mind to consider how you would do that. If you just say I'm going to flip next week, that's future you's problem. I think for a lot of players, they don't want to have to consider, what do I actually need to do to make this flip? Who do I need to talk to? What's the effort I need to put in? When there's an easy vote ahead of them, they don't really care about Andrew or Sarah or Megan that much to do something right now. But next week, probably a good time to do it. Is my read on it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me either. If you feel on the bottom, change it. Like, okay, next week you could go home.
There is some of this. There is some of this that
makes
Nate
sense,
Hall is
yeah.
saying. There are definitely a lot of people who thought that it would just make more sense to flip at 9 than at 10. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I know there were people saying that.
That's fair. That's a fair argument.
It's also like it's hard because like they are all so confident that they're in a good position within the 7, except for Cooper.
Well, the thing with that is
I
think we should give some credit to people at the top of the 7, specifically like really Leia and Bree, keeping all of those people except for Cooper happy, because every other person in that 7 besides Cooper thinks they're in a Final 4, you know,
100%.
Which we see Cooper start catching on to. But that's kind of impressive that like basically there's like the Girls Alliance and there's the Sam and Adam Bree Leia Final 4, and seemingly both of those groups think that they're like more or less comfortable with that for now.
That clearly I think that's exactly what has Adam so fooled.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's great.
Adam's like, oh, Final 4. I think there's an extent to which at this point in time, Adam thinks Final 4 with Sam, Leia, and Bree. I vote off Sam and then Leia and Bree. Easy money for me.
Wait, can we just go back to, because I actually think this is really great gameplay by Leia. Like, I don't like her, but it's good gameplay. But can we just acknowledge that her doing this whole Final 4 alliance with Sam and Adam is lying, and she refuses to do it in certain points? Like, I don't understand. It just infuriates me.
Now,
Shane, it's only lying.
So what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that if it came to it, would Leia choose the Girls Alliance or Sam and Adam Final 4?
I think she would choose the Girls Alliance.
I'm going to take the hot take. She won't choose either. She's just going to stick with the friends. Like, I think she'll cut Emily B. I think she'll cut Bailey. Like, she won't cut Cooper or Sam or Bree initially.
So let's say that for the sake of argument, someone flips next week. What combination of people are flipping? Like, who's getting voted out next week, do we think?
Sam or Bailey?
Yeah, Sam really fucks up next week. So I think finally
I want it to be one of them.
I think it's going to be Adam.
I genuinely do not know how Sam gets through each. I mean, props to him, but also like how.
I just think, in my theory, I just think it's going to be Adam, only because like I think it's going to be one of those situations. All right, imagine this, if you will. Someone comes up with a plan, and it seems like everything's going well, but the next scene is someone in that plan flipping that plan on the initial plan. Wouldn't that be crazy? I think Adam's going to try to make a move initially, and then they're going to throw it back onto Adam, is my thought. Or like someone leaks it. I don't know. If Adam makes a move against Sam, Sam will kill Adam.
I think I can tell you who I think it's not going to be. I think it's not going to be Bree. I think it's not going to be Emily B. And I think it's not going to be Cooper. Everybody else, I could see it happening.
You're willing to bet money Cooper's not going to get targeted.
I think Cooper will get targeted, but I don't think he's going to be the one.
Are we saying a bet in action? Put money on it.
Well, hold on. No, 7th is when Cooper goes home.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll put money on it. I think that. Wait, is next week 9 or 8? 9.
9.
Okay, yeah. I think there's some significance to this whole like 8th place thing too. So that from the beginning of the season. So I'm waiting to see that. But I would put money on Cooper not going next week.
Care to make it interesting, Anders?
I don't think Cooper's going home next week. I think he's going home at 7 because it's funnier.
It is.
Yeah, my guess is that it's going to be either Sam, Adam, or Bailey.
I don't see it being Megan because she's winning. She's winning.
I know we were talking about how Andrew is like, definitely making the final 3. And all jokes aside, like I almost like kind of see a world where he makes the final 3 and then loses. Like I just feel like
this world.
Like I think it's truly gonna happen. Like,
you
I
guys think
he's a
Andrew has
losing
no
finalist.
chance at all if he makes the final 3?
I think
I
he
don't think he
definitely
has
has a
no
shot.
chance.
It depends on who he's up against. I think this edit has like kind of talked a lot about like the like kind of lesser known players getting through to the end, and I think one of them will win in the end. But I could see Andrew getting there. I think that he definitely has a big shot of making it there, especially because Cooper is aligned with him, and I'm more inclined to believe that Cooper and Andrew are going to be more successful down the road than some of the other people. Like I think Cooper has such a strong like read. Like he knows when something's up. He always does. And I think like people really kind of underestimate his ability to see that. Like I don't know why they think they can put over this like secret alliance on him. He's gonna figure it out.
That's why, in my opinion, Andrew's confidence is not misplaced
Yeah,
because he knows
100%.
he's protected by Cooper. And like that is like such a strong thing. As somebody whose entire game plan was to get on a tribe with Cooper and like be good, like I think that's a very comfortable position to be in.
100%.
Well, I think if we were to compare like the Adam, Sam versus Cooper, Andrew storyline of like the shield strategy, I think you'll see a successful shield strategy with Andrew and Cooper. Like Cooper's going to protect Andrew. Andrew will outlast or cut Cooper. But I do think what we saw this episode and last episode is evidence enough that I'm not going to say this is going to be a bitter jury, because I do think jurors have a right to have emotional investment in people and a dislike enough not to want to vote for them. Like, this game is a social game. As I don't know if everyone knows this, but friendship does matter in this game. So, you know, if Andrew's in the final 3, you think Leia's going to vote for Andrew? You think Adam's going to vote for Andrew? These people don't like the way he's been talking. Also, it's an insane thing to tell everyone, even the people you're not close to. I know I'm going to be safe. I know I'm going to the final 3.
That is true. It is shocking.
If I'm not in an alliance with you, I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How do you know?
Kind of king
Yeah.
behavior, though.
I'll say this: I have no idea.
Look, I
have no idea how
funny.
Andrew doesn't get voted out either this week or last week by doing that. It really just is Cooper, just like
Cooper.
It is just Cooper, just
It's
somehow talking them out of voting for him. When they were all so annoyed with Andrew.
Andrew's just like, I think Andrew is just testing Cooper. He's like, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play so shitty this week. I'm gonna leave it up to you. He's like, I'm
No,
gonna make it your
I think that
responsibility.
he just honestly, I think that it's just that he like him and like, you know, Adam's complaining about like Megan like whining and stuff. Andrew's like the opposite of that. Adam's actually complaining about both sides of it. So
I don't
on one side you have
understand
Megan,
that.
on one side you have Megan who's just like begging for her life. On the other side you have Andrew whose point of view is like, I'm not gonna beg. Like I'm not gonna do that at all, you know.
you should be begging to me.
Remember when?
Yeah, that is what he says. That is what he says.
Wait,
Remember when
have
Cooper and
confidence
Andrew
in
were
yourself, you know, he
beefing
believes
because
he's
of the party? Because
What?
I do. Remember
Wait,
when
what
Cooper
about the
and
party?
Andrew they were beefing because
Oh, the police.
Oh,
Yeah,
Andrew
the
might not
ticket.
Andrews might not have seen that.
wait, what are we talking about?
In the bonus scenes for one of the early episodes when there was
Oh.
like the big party at Cooper's house, Crouch's house got a ticket and Cooper and Andrew had a big fight over who like should pay the ticket. Yeah.
Good thing it was a secret scene. But also Andrew's like a celebrity, and Cooper is his emergency PR team. Like, Andrew will say the most heinous thing, and Cooper will go, well, actually, what he meant by this is he was just sort of riffing, you know, just like a quirky thing. He went abroad recently, so he's just got
Cooper is like Andrew's PR man, you know, like he's
Literally.
like his front man. He has to clean up all the things Andrew's saying to everybody.
But I just think if he's in the final 3, Andrew, I just see some people finding, in the same way I could see the way that Leia talks to people very talking down, I see Andrew's overconfidence rubbing you the wrong way, because it's fine to have confidence, but to tell people point blank you think you're going to be fine, but not offering anything to actually show them that it's because of their work, but just because of some outside force. Like, why do I like you?
Is there
You know?
anything too also though? Andrew does, you know, he does have a pretty good social game, I think, in certain one-on-one ways. Like when he's talking to Bailey, like Andrew can be the kind of guy where you just kind
You
of like him
can't
if you
use
hang out with him.
Bailey here as an
But
explanation.
is there any
Andrew-
merit to the Dale comparison?
Andrew is the
Dale
kind of
won.
guy who, when you talk to him enough, you do just
So did
tend to
Dylan.
start liking him, you know?
True.
So
Yeah. I could definitely see an Andrew win. I think I would be on board for it.
And Andrew
Andrews and Shane.
win.
Andrews and Shane. Who do you guys think like is winning? Like gun to your head,
Megan.
who wins this season?
Said it week 1, saying it again. Megan.
I'm gonna be controversial. I'm gonna say Andrew.
Okay, so you like to lose, is what I'm hearing.
Yes. No, I mean I would say Megan, but I think it's not her.
Look, Edgic-wise, Megan's had a pretty bad couple of weeks, and that's because no one wants to do what Megan wants, all right? She's trying her best, but she keeps going to Adam or like, I don't know, Sam. What can you do? Edgic
I want
can't
it to be
make
both
you
of them
perfect.
in the end. I hope they both make it. I would love to see those two in the end
I will
together.
say, I think Andrew talking about like he was like, "Oh, my story." He was like, "All of season 3 got decimated," and I was like, as if those were
Emily
your
B.
allies.
Also,
I'm
Emily
like,
B is
I'm
still
like,
there.
no, but
He was
also
cool
like
for
as he was
that.
saying that as if like that was like the trend or like, but it's not like he was like working insanely closely with any of those season 3 people.
Also, I don't really feel like Andrew's had that sort of from the bottom to the top narrative. Like, Andrew was in a good position and then wasn't and hasn't done anything to change that. Like, I would say if you're looking at the bottom, you have Sarah, who was working extremely hard, and Megan working extremely hard. Andrew is not. From my perspective, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've ignored it. I don't see how Andrew specifically was working hard to do anything to flip the game, but more to survive.
Yeah, I think Andrew's playing defense right now because he knows he has Cooper, and
Because
so
he's knows he's
knows
going
that
to the final 3.
he knows he doesn't have to do anything. But I think there is a lot of game left to be played, so it'll be interesting to see if he changes that philosophy. If he doesn't, I think he's screwed. He has to change it to win. But I think that his relationship with Cooper is key, and I think it'll be really interesting to see now that Cooper, it's on the preview, Cooper is like ready to flip. So I think that it should be really interesting to see that play out. And I could see everything we talk. I mean, I think there's a good shot of either Megan or Andrew winning, but probably
What
you're right.
about Bree? I feel like Bree is one of those players that if you were to ask me, do you think she's in a good position? Yes, almost always she's been in a good position. But I feel like she's not as upfront as like I hate that comment so much. Emily, never mind. Fuck it. Emily V winning. But like Bree's in a great position and is constantly sort of overlooked in terms of threat, which I think is really
100%.
good for her.
Yeah,
That's
I
agree.
think Bree is. I've said the whole time that I think Bree is playing a pretty good game. She didn't film a lot of footage, so she's somewhat underutilized in
In
the
there,
show.
baby.
But it is what it is. But I think she is playing a pretty decent game, and we'll have to see where it goes. But she also is being accused. You know, we hear Leia saying this episode that Bree's not going to win. So there are people discussing that.
Leia said that about like 8 people. Though.
Everybody, yeah.
And I'm sorry, someone just randomly yelling while they're not in your alliance or they're not your closest person, they're not going to win. Who cares? Like, you don't know. We're at final 9. Like, we'll see when it's final 3.
Also, someone way earlier, it was the San Diego Survivor thing, said like, what did production think about like the majority alliance at this point? Because Brady was asking some kind of pointed questions. Similar to Tokidoki majority, production is always anti-majority, basically, you know, because like the biggest fear of the entire world is like, oh, All-Star is going to be a Pagongi, you know, and especially coming after season 4, which was a Pagongi, everyone was like, oh my God, dude, what if we have 2 Pagongis back to back? That'd be horrible. So production was super anti the majority because the production would be anti any majority basically and wanted it to break up no matter what. And there were a number of people on production, you can imagine, who also found Leia's list to be a somewhat interesting strategy to say the least, and were not huge fans of it at this point in time. But by the end of the season, production was very happy with how it turned out. So that is what I will say about that.
Wait, I also want to comment on the challenge a little bit. So using Survivor seasons, I was like, okay, easy enough to remember the numbers. When I saw the list of what they were numbered, I was like, what? Why even include this? What the fuck is this?
This was a really confusing challenge to like portray to the audience. Maybe I shouldn't have even included the list, but like I thought they would.
No, you needed to, because the fact Borneo is 5.
Right. I thought it would be even more confusing if I didn't include it. Basically, everyone got sent a list ahead of time and was told to memorize this like bizarro list, you know?
Right.
And so then they all were trying to remember that and remember the game info, basically. Is not the most user-friendly challenge.
No, I guess from my mind, why?
Like I don't know. I don't remember who came up with that challenge or what like the deal behind it was.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I was confused.
Yeah.
I was really rooting for Cooper and Megan, but
Oh,
that didn't work
what
out.
Shane, I'm sure you felt the same way. A hellish end of it's between Sam and Leia.
I know, Sam and Leia.
Why
I
didn't
was
you
like,
just shoot
God.
me?
I was like, I didn't think I was gonna be rooting for Leia of all people, but I was.
Honestly, I was too.
If it was Sam Leia final two, like who do you guys have?
Yeah,
Who you
I
guys
would have
want?
picked Leia. I would have picked Leia just because I
To
feel
win the
like
whole game?
Oh,
Yeah, let's say it was
oh.
them final two.
Sam,
Sam.
100% Sam.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're just saying Leia. You just
well, to win the challenge, but that's a different thing than win the game. Like, I just feel like if Sam, I wanted Sam to squirm. I did not.
gotcha.
Leia is, in my opinion, like I think she's just gonna get kind of dragged to the end a little bit. I don't know, but I would rather Sam win over Leia because I feel like I just think that Sam has played a better game that's not all about Leia's list.
I don't want Leia to win because I cannot take another speech about her fucking her paper that she's writing, how she's really dissecting the game
thesis.
and her thesis. Thank you.
Look, I'm not saying either of their games have been like great, but I think Sam is better than Leia.
What's like you guys' like ideal final three? Something like Andrew, Megan,
Andrew,
Emily.
Megan, Cooper.
That are you joking? That's your ideal? Cooper wins.
like-
How does Cooper honestly, Shane, how does Cooper lose that one?
I don't. I mean, true, but I love Cooper, so.
Here's the thing. Love Cooper. If Cooper won, I just feel like everything's working out too well for Cooper.
We need to see Cooper squirm.
I don't think he wins. Probably, yeah, Andrew and Megan for sure. I don't know. There's like maybe Brie.
I think ideal final three: Megan, Andrew, Leia. I'm sorry, not Andrew. Adam and Leia. Adam and Leia get roasted, and Megan wins.
I think more likely what we'll get is an Emily B win. I think that's what's.
You think that's
happen.
more likely?
I think so.
You said Andrew.
I mean, yeah, gun to my head, I want it to be Andrew, but I think realistically it will be Emily B.
No, I
Going back briefly to the whole like friendship thing, like one thing that I tried to like kind of subtly show in the edit was that in addition to all like the friendship accusations, though, like Nick and Kevin, the first two people out in this merge, are two of the most like integral people in this like friend group that's being discussed, you know, and all these parties and stuff are happening at Aaron's or whatever. And like basically, I'm curious what your view was having these social events still and like going to parties and stuff after being out of the game and like seeing that kind of from an early perspective
She
as it
loved
like,
it.
moved on.
It was a lot of denial. It was, I don't know. It's so complicated to kind of express the feelings of playing with your friends. Would not recommend it to anybody, honestly. I think what's really interesting to me is that like it's so obviously a part of it, and you know it's a part of it, and you know that like yeah, obviously I'm hanging out with these people, and like the more time you spend with these people, whether it's Survivor related or not, that's still building relationships, that's still building trust, so that's going to be building your way forward in the game and your relationship in the game, whether you mean it to or not. I think it's just like the most frustrating thing for me is like when people try to say that that's not the case. Like I think that's the biggest annoyance about this like friends alliance is that they are putting the quotes around it. Like most of them are just calling it like this friends thing or whatever. If they actually owned it, I think that that would be a lot better. But it's giving very like, you know, cis white man that wants to be oppressed. Like that's what it felt like to me. Of they're like, well, you're on the bottom because you deserve to be. It's like it's giving very like, you know,
Yeah,
pull
I didn't
yourself
like
up by
that.
the bootstraps kind of thing. Which is just very annoying.
Just make a big move, Megan. It's
Right,
not hard.
exactly. So it's just like I wish that they would more acknowledge what's happening, but it's also so complex when you're like in that situation because yeah, it is harder to vote out your friends than it is to vote out somebody that you're not
So
as
Aaron,
much friends with.
let's say that you ended up in the merge with some combination of like Cooper and like Dylan, and you know Megan's coming to you saying flip on Cooper and Dylan, you're only working with them because they're your friends. What would you say to that? You know, because you would not do that, I'm assuming.
Kick rocks.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Megan would have been involved in that, and she wouldn't be asking you to
Well,
flip on
not
the-
somebody. Someone's coming to you.
Right. I think exactly. Yeah. When you're in that situation, I think, yeah, I would be like, yeah, these are the people that I'm working with. These are the people that because the names that you said, Cooper and Dylan, like those are two names going into the game I was never going to write down.
Right.
Like
So
that's
how,
Aaron's list is
so
Cooper and Dylan.
right. So how is that different though? Is my question.
No,
It
it's
doesn't
not.
everyone
It's
have the
not.
group of people that they would
Yeah.
do it with?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah.
trying to I'm not trying to sound like holier than thou. I'm not trying to say that like this is a huge problem. I'm not trying to say that they're like ruining the game by playing with their friends, but I just wish that they would acknowledge that. And that's kind
Yeah.
of what like really hurt. Like it hurts like when you get voted out by your friends and they don't kind of give you that heads up beforehand or like say like, "Hey, listen, I love you, but like this is what I have to do." And it's like that's where you get that kind of it feels more personal and it does get harder, and it's like that's why like yeah, Bailey getting that text from Kevin had to be huge for her. Like I'm sure she was really worried about severing that like actual friendship when she voted him out, but like getting that confirmation of like no, we're actually okay probably felt a lot better. But like Kevin also did see that coming. So like he was kind of given that heads up, and it's a lot harder when you are integrated in this, when you are friends with these people and they blindside you, and it's like, I thought we were friends, but that's not something that
Yeah.
like that's not something that you want to have to do to your friends.
I agree. I think what made the tribal council frustrating to watch was like, could they just like acknowledge that like what Sarah was saying had some truth to it? Like, yes, everybody has people, like you said, that they're not gonna vote out. Like that's a realistic part of Survivor. But like the way that they were talking to the people on the bottom, it's like it was very condescending, and they just couldn't acknowledge like the whole point of Survivor is like, I mean, you want to make sure that when you leave people that are going to the jury, they're not pissed off at you. Like they're leaving people mad, it looks like. And if they just were a little bit gentler in the way that they were like, yeah, we're really sorry, like this is the way that the game has shooken out, like instead of being like, you did this, like it's your fault. Like I think both things can be true. It can be their fault, and it also can be that they can acknowledge that there's some other factors besides it just being their fault.
I think the
Um,
biggest thing in a lot of those like individual conversations too that was like really hard is that like when like Sam or Adam were like talking to Megan or Sarah, they always said we. Like they were speaking for the entire group. They were speaking for
right.
the seven. Whereas when they're having those conversations with like Cooper or Emily B, they're saying like this is my individual reason for doing this. And so it's like I think those are better. Like it is a respectful thing to like say, listen, I'm sorry, like I can't flip for you. I think that is much better than, just like pretending to go along with it and then just being like, I mean, unless you're Cooper can do no wrong. But I think that like
Oh, you
saying
should ask the
things
fans last week if they feel
no,
that
I
way.
know. But like saying things in that group basis really just makes it sound like you're not thinking for yourself. And that's really what Sam and Adam were both doing in their conversations, especially with Megan, of like Sam was like, we don't know who we're gonna vote for yet. Like we don't know this. And Adam was like, well, we're going to stick together this week. Like this is what we're doing. Instead of kind of like giving their own individual reasons for why they individually are doing that. And so I think that's why that kind of group dynamic really hits home when people are speaking on a group level.
I mean,
Was Sam talking at Tribal about that too?
yeah,
I know Bailey was.
I think that like the tribal council is like an emotional thing, and like obviously everybody's really high strung about it, and I think that like both sides are kind of defensive, because like
Not on
while
both sides.
I think that I think I will both sides a little bit, and then I think like the people on the bottom feel like they're being patronized too and told, oh, you're just bad at the game, and that's why this has happened. And some people, like I think Adam and Sam especially, who were on the bottom when the merge began, there was a whole alliance without them. Sam's supposed to go home. I think that they felt like especially Adam, felt like he had put in all this work to like create this giant flip, and he's being disrespected in the game. People just call him Sam's puppet, and now they're saying, oh, it's all just because of your friends. When from his point of view, I think the way he would see it was, I flipped this whole thing because I pitched it to Bailey, and I wasn't pitching to her, come work with your friends. I was pitching to her, you don't trust Sarah and Andrew. I think that is the pitch Adam was giving. Then once they've come together and this whole Leia's listing starts getting around, it's obviously more complicated. It's not like they're not just sticking together because they're friends. It's not that they're not just sticking together because they are. But like, I think that in the same way that Megan and Sarah feel like hurt by it, I think that like deep down Sam and Adam also like feel hurt by some of the things they're saying and feel like it's not like it's all not fair, because Survivor isn't fair. Everyone's going to see themselves as the hero, even when you're on the top or you're on the bottom, you know?
I
Well, I
think,
think-
yeah, but some people like they handle those conversations differently. Like
Yeah.
that's I think that Adam handles being in a power position so poorly. Like
Well,
it's
Yeah,
it's
This
so
is
bad.
this was
I
one of
also
the most
think-
uncomfortable scenes I ever
Yes.
had to watch.
that was
Absolutely.
horrifying
Also,
to
in terms of
watch.
percentage of how long the meeting was for how much was included in the episode, this has to be one of the highest percentages ever. Like, I think the entire video is like 3 or 4 minutes, and like maybe
Too long.
at least half of it was
Megan,
included
like
in the
Megan just
episode.
leaving both of those conversations.
so
Like,
funny.
iconic.
I think like 60 or
Iconic.
70% of their full meeting was in the episode because it was so short. Like they showed
I
up,
was
they started
living for her
talking,
getting
it
out.
got so uncomfortable, and then Megan just left.
I want to circle
You know what?
back
Good
really
for
quick
her.
on the. I want to circle back really quick on the Adam and also the friendship. So it's like where it's different for Adam and Sam. Although they made this big move, like that, no one can deny they didn't save themselves and get in a power position. After the reveal of Leia's list and the discussion that's followed, it's evident, at least to the audience, that Adam is not in a good position. Like Adam is the bottom one, despite making the move. Adam is in a significantly worse position than Sam. So although Adam feels as though they've, put themselves in a great position, they've got this insular four, we know and therefore sympathize and empathize with the bottom that like, Adam, please jump so that you're not just out. But to go back
I
on the
think
friendship,
that's fair. I think that's a fair point.
to go back on the friendship thing, like, look, if you've never seen Survivor Maryland season 7, there is a big aspect of it that is friendship matters. And a lot of people are mad because it's like, well, strategically they should do this or that. You have to remember, everyone in this game is playing for, I don't even know what Michigan plays for.
5-0.
$100,
Big ol'
$50,
50.
nothing.
Yeah.
Almost-
$50?
It's not about the
less
money.
than Maryland.
It's not about the money. We're
It's
doing
not
this
about
for
the
that.
money.
the money.
So then it is about wanting to win, but also don't want to ruin friendships. Like if Bailey and Kevin, like, were not friends because of the game, I almost think Bailey might consider quitting just based off that. Like at a certain point, it's not that, oh, this game is just about friendship, but you can't pretend that, well, strategically you should do this, get rid of all your friends, do. Aaron wouldn't betray people. Everyone had someone they don't want to betray. And even if friendship isn't the reason they've created these alliances, you don't want to lose your friends. You don't want to hurt your friends. You want to play this game as well as you can within those those constraints and everything. And also, when you're in the majority, I do think it's a bad move to stop conversation from happening. Smart players like Cooper go to the minority. They know they're not going to flip. But what they do is they plant seeds. So when the minority is getting someone somewhere and somewhat to flip, Cooper's going to know about it. Cooper's going to be on the inside of it. Because when you shut off opportunities, you're going to get the backlash of it. Adam and Sam are in a bad position because they refuse to really work and play and do whatever with Megan and Sarah and Andrew. It's not that they don't try. It's just that giving information to Megan is not going to work, Sam. Actually saying, I know this big alliance isn't going to work. I want to work with you. It cannot happen this week, but you will be around next week so we can work together then. That's what you do. That's what Cooper does. And that's why Cooper's not going to go home next week. I get it, and we all get it. It's fucking annoying to watch a majority be a majority for another week, but there are people in it that you're mad at, that we're all mad at, who aren't doing anything about like shifting the majority, and they're gonna lose. They're going to get fucked up. That's the truth. That's what happens every single time. You will see it again and again. So sorry, Leia. Sorry, Sam. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, Bailey. Like, they're just going to get fucked up. I promise you.
I think the other thing to add on to that is like at Tribal Council, like Sarah was like, the way she was talking, it's like she's calling them out, but she also like did acknowledge that like she may have made a mistake. I would love to see that from Sam or from Adam or from Bailey. Like, I would love to see some acknowledgement that like they're not perfect. They haven't all been right. Like, right, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, it's all on them. It's all on people on the bottom. They did everything wrong. Like, that is not true. They definitely did do some things wrong, but everybody did. Like, it's not that simple. They're making it seem like they're the bad guys, the villains. Like, everybody is. It's like you said, Ian, everybody thinks that they're the hero of their own story, but like what I appreciated about Sarah is that she at least admitted to some degree, like she wasn't like, yeah, that was a bad move, but she like took some sort of responsibility for the fact that she was like, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best move. Wish Adam and Sam would do that.
Sarah, I also think Sarah's in a tough spot this week because pretty much everyone in the majority wanted her in the game and wanted to keep working with her, except like everybody basically in that majority, except for Bailey and Cooper, wanted Andrew to go home. And Cooper just, we'll have to see at the beginning of next episode, maybe. Somehow Cooper convinced them all through his whatever shenanigans to keep Andrew in. I think that Sarah, if she really thought it was her, might have like tried slightly harder, maybe. I think she really thought she was going to be in the next week because that's what everyone was telling her. Because most of the people like Bree and Emily B and other people who are talking to her, Adam, all three of those people like wanted to work with Sarah and wanted her in the game and thought Andrew was going home. Like the presumption was Andrew was going home for like 90% of this week. So that was a bit tougher, but
I want to react to something really quick. Someone posted, I can make lists too, and it's an image of 8 numbers. 1 through 6 are all Leia, Cooper, and then Sam.
Where is this?
What a good list of getting rid of people. What a perfect elimination list.
Where is this
Leia
list?
1 through 6.
Is this in the Discord?
It's in the Discord.
I'll check. I'll have to read it. I have to read. I always read Discord after this.
That was my only comment.
That's funny.
But I do agree they should. I mean, they're not going to admit it at Tribal they've made mistakes because they're also in the majority. At Tribal, they're going to be as cagey and as frou-frou-la-la, we're all in this together as possible. I just wish we would see their confessionals show a little bit more of an awareness. Like Adam and Sam both have the most irritating confessionals of unearned confidence, I would say, which I know it's shocking, but they both have unearned confidence and they've had it the whole time. And it's excruciating when they're in the majority and still somehow blame bottom people for doing anything or not doing anything. Make a big move.
What else? I don't know. Is there any other
Megan crying.
Oh yeah, what do you think of Megan fake crying? Come on, that's hilarious. I loved that. That's
everything
so
Megan
funny.
said in that like sequence of confessionals was so on point. Like
It gives some credit to Adam too. Adam has some really funny lines in that, just in the way he says it. Like something about the way he said, like, head back to camp, got nothing for you.
That was really
is genuinely hilarious, you know.
That was funny.
Even if you don't like the sentiment behind it necessarily. But yeah, Megan fake crying to Adam with their whole Crybabies alliance.
Well,
that's
I have to wonder why Adam. Here's my question: why is Adam so frustrated by Megan crying, but Sam cried to him about?
No, exactly. No, because
that's what I'm curious
about.
It's
Adam hates whenever anybody cries that's not him. Like that's literally what it is. Anytime anybody else cries, he's like, "Why are you crying? Like this is Survivor. Stop crying."
He worked with Sam
after
so Sam cried to him.
They're also
trying to vote him out. Megan wasn't even trying to vote Adam out.
Also, I know you guys were ragging a bit on like the majority for having no awareness, but wasn't there also a whole segment in this episode about how much the game is affecting them and how hard it is for Sam that Megan is mad at him and all this kind of stuff?
Oh my god! Also,
so we're just gonna paper over that and pretend that didn't happen for this argument.
I just think it's so silly to be like, oh man, being in college and playing Survivor is so hard on me. Yeah, no shit. Like, it's so dumb. It's such a what a unique thing only you're feeling in this moment.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's like it's like an interesting aspect of college Survivor is like, I mean, these people are like ruining their lives to a degree doing this. Like,
they're ruining my life.
By the end of this season, and by this point in the season, these people are like losing their minds. Like I feel like you can sense a little bit in this episode, like how kind of like angsty everybody's getting. Like it's like everyone's just fucking exhausted, you know. Maybe the audience
that goes for the audience too.
Yeah. You know,
they're exhausted.
The audience is really going on this journey with the characters, right? Like you're experiencing it as they experienced it. So in that aspect,
I do want to say
I really want Adam to vote out Sam. Sorry, I want it to happen so bad.
I want to say, I piggybacking off of that, I feel bad for constantly ragging on Adam because I want to have on some level a respect for the game they've played and what they want to do. The issue
100%.
is it's a lot of bark and no bite, and it's a lot of bark on at least the Sam front. Like there's no denying that Adam hasn't played a good game. Like they have. The issue is in this game, you're going to have that reflected onto Sam more than onto you.
100%.
Only because Sam is a louder player, has better connections, is more insulated, and is going to outlast you. And until Adam makes an actual move against Sam, something that we can point at and say, this was not for Sam or against Sam, it rings hollow. And that's what a lot of these scenes have felt like. Adam rings hollow. It's the, you can't cry, but I can. You can't do this, but I can. I don't need to flip. You need to do this. Like last week when it was Adam and Bree discussing flipping, and Bree's like, I don't want to flip. Bree expressed, yeah, it's good for me not to flip. It's another moment of Adam is just sort of, someone is always working off of someone else and isn't it. Okay, I've just connected it. Adam's complaint against Megan of you need to make a big move, like you need to do it yourself, is how Adam has played. What can Adam say they've done as a big move? What can they say that
flipping
they've
the game with the
flip,
majority?
the
That's
flip,
that's
yeah,
what they
that
would
is
say.
a big move.
That's what they would say. Yeah, they would say the majority flip. At this
And
But
I
I
will,
still don't-
yeah, I will say too. I think like every single player falls victim to that. Where like, I think there's a bit of hypocrisy in like confessionals from pretty much everyone, where they're like, I can do these things, but like you can't. If they're
Yeah.
done to me, then that's not.
I think the
okay.
fundamental hypocrisy of every player in this game, and the core hypocrisy of this Survivor Michigan All Stars, is the like, when I do it to someone, it isn't personal. When they did it to me, it was personal.
Exactly.
And I think
Right.
tons and tons of people experience that throughout the game. Tons and
Exactly.
tons and tons of people. I mean, Cooper is crying, and he's like one of the most, game body people in the game. Tons and tons and tons of people have that moment at some point where it's like, oh, you did this to me, it's personal. Like, but it wasn't personal when I was doing it to you.
Wait, can we talk about what was the quote? It's Adam with someone talking to Adam, and it's like, you're going to get betrayed by this majority alliance, and he goes, I don't have to worry about that till like 7 or whatever, or a vote at 7 isn't a big deal, whatever that fucking quote was.
Yeah, something like that. Something
And it's
along
just
those
like,
lines.
Okay, so you're saying it's not a worry that at 7 you're clearly at the bottom and will get votes. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I don't
think-
know if he believes that. I think that that's like,
What
I
he's
think Adam
saying.
just doesn't want to tell Megan what he's thinking. But
I
Yeah.
don't know what bothers me is like I feel like Adam is I acknowledge I think Adam is actually playing a good game. I'm really hoping that they do take out Sam and like ride to the end without Sam there. But what I'm kind of missing is like I feel like as such a huge fan, like their whole thing last season was like the whole like super fan idiot, right? Like I'm surprised that at least maybe Ian, you can clarify this, but it's surprising to me that we even haven't heard about this or it's just not happening. That like it's not even a thought in their mind that they might be on the bottom. Like really, like it to us, it's so clear that like
Adam and
They're
Sam
not
believe they're in a
insulated.
Final Four with Leia and Bree. So they
I
just
think-
don't think
yeah.
they're on the bottom. That's just what it is. Adam and Sam think they're in a Final Four with Leia and Bree. Emily B and Bailey also think they're in a Final Four with Leia and Bree. Emily B and Bailey know about the other Final Four. Sam and Adam don't know about that. So Cooper doesn't know about either of these Final Fours.
No, he does. He
Well,
knows
he
about
does.
the Girls Alliance.
Oh,
He
that's
just
true.
doesn't-
That's true. He does know about the Girls Alliance, but like he hasn't been like fully I don't know. I guess he does know about the Girls Alliance.
Cooper's a
yeah.
feminist,
Here-
so he's not worried about the women. He says, let them
But he
have
like
their
only
alliance.
kind of believed the Girls Alliance.
To be fair,
Maybe-
go on
So
it,
you
Shane.
go.
No, you
No.
have to.
What I was gonna say is that maybe this is just me, but like if I'm in an all-star season, I'm not gonna just blatantly believe that there's a Final Four at like Final 10 or 11. Like
I feel like
I
I
don't-
feel like
that
that's like
I fully
that should.
agree with.
I feel like you should
actually.
always be better safe than sorry in those situations.
I mean,
I agree
sure,
that it's
I-
odd. It's odd that there is multiple people in this episode who seem to genuinely think they can get to 7. I agree with you there that like that just seems like if
Yeah.
I was one of those, if I was playing the game, I would never believe that my majority is going to last that long because that just seems so
Especially-
unrealistic.
they're all talking about flipping next week, and they all know that. Like it's not
Yeah,
like
great line from Adam at the meeting of the 7 near the end where he says, "This week is a quality of life week before Merge gets crazy." He says that
like-
in front of the entire alliance, which I thought was so funny.
Also,
that was a good line.
I want to point out Argmady did actually quote it. 1 vote against me at 7 isn't a big deal. Thank you, Argmady. So now I can say that's stupid. That's a dumb quote to ever say. No, it's very dumb. This majority of 7. In no world should a 7 majority be like, we're going to stick together till 7.
Yeah, no way.
Bitch, are you
Tokidoki-
insane?
Tokidoki basically did it with their 6, but
It's very silly to me because you should, right? You should consider there has to be a 4. If I'm not like, what is Cooper?
right, that's what
Obviously-
Cooper's saying. He's like starting to freak out by the end of this episode. That's what
Well,
he's like saying.
As
is
you
that he
should.
realized-
Like Cooper's not in a 4, and if everyone wants to go to 7, you got to think what's the majority in there.
right, and I think that's exactly what Cooper's starting to get paranoid about.
My head would go to that there's multiple, there's not one, but that's just me. Like I would, if somebody's telling me that I'm in the majority 4, I'd immediately be thinking, where's the other one? Because I know that like that wouldn't be the only thing, right? Like there's just no way.
In
So-
any alliance you're ever in, you have to have a mini majority alliance within your majority and then a mini final 3
Exactly.
within that. Like you always have to have your shit set.
I 100% agree. So that's kind of where I was coming from when I was like, I'm surprised that they're buying this, just because. I mean, I can't say that I like understand their position because I was not in Survivor Michigan All Stars, but like,
Me neither.
It
I
just-
was, and I get it.
you know what I mean? Like it just throws up like alarm bells to me. All of this conversation, especially because they're all talking about flipping and they're all like kind of acknowledging it. So like, how can they possibly think this is going to end well? Yeah, they're totally going to get 7, right?
I am interested to see how a majority forms next week, only because, so like, obviously Megan and Andrew are going to be together, but like, what is the group that goes over to them? You need 5. And if, for instance, Cooper's going to flip, who are the people that feel comfortable enough or certain enough they need to flip with Cooper? Like, there are 2 4 majority alliances, neither of which Cooper is in, but everyone else in the 7 is in. Leia's not going to flip. That wouldn't make any sense. I don't see Bree flipping either. I could see Emily B doing it. Like, I do see Emily B feeling, because we got this week Emily B going, yeah, Bailey treats me like I'm an idiot and I'm a little puppet. And then Bailey does exactly that. But it's just like, what's the third in that equation? Who's so interested in going against the 7 that they go with Cooper and Emily B for with Emily or with Megan and Andrew?
If you didn't say Emily B, I would say Bailey, just because of the whole like. It seems to me that like Bailey, Cooper, and Andrew are all connected, but because you said Emily B, I'm like less sure of that. But it could be like Bailey and Bree, maybe. I don't know.
I don't see a world where Bree goes against the 7 where she's
Yeah.
clearly like solid in it.
Yeah, I think Bailey though, probably.
You think Bailey over Emily B?
Is there some convoluted world where both of them do it? Like,
I mean, with Bailey, you never know, baby. I will say this. I'll go back to my Emily B hate. I can at least understand on some level why Emily B does things. I just forget Emily
yeah,
B
100%.
is there until
Yeah.
she's like very, very relevant in a decision. Most of the time, it's like, who's in the 7? Well, I know most of them, and then, oh yeah, Emily B is there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I need this Emily B slander's got to end.
No,
If you want me to feel differently, I don't know. Sorry, pre-merge, I was very focused on Aaron. Sorry, on a certain person who.
Yeah, I wasn't on this season, so I don't know who you're talking about.
But now it's like I've got to find a new fave, and it's just like I'm looking. It's Megan, but it's hard to watch
Yeah.
Megan.
I
sort of
definitely thought some people would adopt Emily B as their fave at a certain point. We'll see. Maybe it'll still happen.
I find it hard because I was just rooting for so many other people at the start. So like to have Emily become a favorite, just like it's hard at this point because I don't feel particularly.
I think it's
attached
just interesting to me because like people stand, like Mallory, and I'm like Emily B has played a way better game than Mallory, at least thus far in the game.
I was not a Mallory fan, so
I'll say this, like, also, I know Kevin's not like a reliable narrator or a good person in the game, in the edit. I don't know him personally, all right?
I love Kevin personally.
Oh, Kevin's great personally.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know
Kevin's
him
a great-
personally, all right? So I don't care. But like, he spent a lot of last week going, Bailey and Emily are fucking stupid, they're furniture, whatever. And like, I don't know if the edit conveyed to me that he was necessarily wrong. So especially after the texts and them not flipping. So for me, it's like I could look at Kevin being so negative towards them as like, oh, we should feel sympathy. Or I could look at game-wise how I feel with like them not flipping and go, Kevin's right. Like, what are either of them doing? How are they presenting themselves in a way that I would enjoy? But look, you're editing it, you have your own perspective, and everyone's going to watch and hate it and hate the people that you want them to like.
Well, not
Sometimes-
necessarily, you know.
Sometimes you have a Santi who's a king, and people say, "No, fuck him! I hate him! I hate everything about it."
I did not no one in this season did I set out to make people dislike. You know, I just was like, There was people I did set out to make people actively like I said, Sarah, because I was worried they wouldn't. But for the most part, most people on the season, I was just like, I'm just gonna present them as they were, more or less. You know, like Kevin, it's not the edit wasn't you weren't necessarily meant to take Kevin's side or not take its side. It was like, this is what Kevin's saying about Emily. This is how Emily responds to it. What do we make of this? You know,
I think, and maybe this is like why I personally have a hard time connecting to Emily, but I didn't find her personality wise that exciting in season 3. So it was hard for me coming into the season to be a big fan because I felt like I didn't really know her at all. And I still feel that way. Not because of what you've given us, just because I feel like that's what she gives.
yeah, I mean, everyone's gonna, you know, have their own favorites and have their own opinions. It's difficult for me to like, I can't like necessarily discern because I'm like just so knee deep in every single person's like videos that I feel like I just start to see it from all of their point of views at a certain point, you know, and it becomes hard to. It's like at a certain point, I am no longer biased of saying who I like more than who I don't like, you know.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Anders was laughing at that.
That
I
also the comment that compares Leia, Cooper, and Sam to Tim, Doug, and Santi, and I went, who's who in this scenario? Like,
Yeah,
what
like
godless world is this? Because Enemy Lover 22 full, I don't know who you think is the Santi in this situation, but I feel like Sam is Tim. Oh, I was gonna say Sam is Tim. Cooper's Doug and Leia's Santi.
Cooper is very Doug, actually. I agree with that.
And what's crazy is I think the difference is like Cooper as to focus more on Michigan. Cooper as a game bot is still really good at appealing to people's sensibilities and making them feel good. And even when he screws you over, does not make you feel bad. Like I think Cooper would win if he were ever to make it to the end. There's not a single world where anyone lets Cooper get close to the end because
not with Aaron, not there. Yeah.
Not without Aaron absolutely throwing everything down to protect Cooper. Someone would say, Aaron, Cooper's going to beat you. And Aaron would go, I want him to. Please, let him beat me.
That might have happened. I've seen that happen many times. So that honestly might have happened.
Same.
I've seen the exact scenario happen between Cooper and Aaron many times. And like,
Okay, but I beat Cooper, so.
So true.
Hey, and I beat Aaron. So I guess transitive property. No, I just think that you're never going to have Cooper get to the end. And I think Sam and Leia are less threats to the... Actually, that's not true. Sam gets to the end. I do think Sam wins.
I agree.
But again, Sam and Cooper are never going to get to the end.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think at this point, I would be really shocked. I would be less shocked if Cooper makes it to the end and more shocked if Sam does.
Yeah. Sam gets to the end by continually fucking up and somehow just getting forward.
That would be a crazy story arc. That would be insanity. Yeah, I would be shocked by that.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else on this cast, if they made it to the final 3, how would it shock me beyond words? I'm really like those 3, Leia, Cooper, and Sam. I just don't see getting to the final 3. I could see anyone else getting there.
I could see Leia getting there just because I think maybe we don't perceive this as like the viewers, but I think the rest of the cast is like Leia's she has no chance of winning.
I feel like that's just true. You know, Leia's been saying, not to reflect again another edit thing, but Leia's been saying all season, this person no chance to win. Maybe the person with really no chance to win is Leia. Wow. Okay, Ian, top of your craft, baby. Aaron's right. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the vision.
What about like Bailey? Do we think she has a chance
of getting to the end? Sure. Of winning? No, I just don't.
Even though
Yeah.
everyone's calling her the biggest threat, you don't think if the biggest threat
But
gets
I
to
don't
the end?
get
I'm
it.
thinking, wait, why is she the biggest threat?
Well, I think she was perceived at this point in time of having really, she was running both alliances the week of the merge. So after that, that was seen as such a gigantic like move on like, um, on like her part, honestly. And like it was seen as a huge move for AJ and Sam also, but everyone was like, Bailey made an alliance. She formed both majorities basically. So there was a
Right.
big perception that she had flipped on her own alliance and that was like a giant move, and that kind of like, if Bailey successfully made it to the end after doing that, that would kind of legitimize that move, because like I think that Andrew and Sarah and Megan all thought that was a bad move for Bailey, and Kevin too. Like those people were all annoyed with Bailey for doing that. And so the idea that if Bailey can still succeed despite that, I think people were like, that will justify that move and like prove that she did know what she was doing, basically. So I think that's
Bailey
why she's seen
also,
as the
yeah,
biggest threat.
she also had like a big threat like level coming in from the pre-merge just because she
Right.
had like probably the most people looking out for her.
She was
Because
playing pretty hard as well,
she was playing super hard and super well pre-merge by just like making these connections. And like, yes, people knew that if you told Bailey something, everybody knew it, but people were still telling Bailey things anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
she had a
Yeah.
crazy amount of information, like I think in this point in the game she's still kind of the most powerful person in the game to a degree.
Very
I have a
much so.
question. Did people ever discuss, like, not to bring this up, but like the whole like Noah is Bailey's boyfriend thing? Like, is that
Not in game,
Not
really.
in the game, really, honestly. Like Megan
interesting?
and Jackson were obviously annoyed about it,
Oh,
but
why?
no reason, but most people weren't particularly concerned about that, to be honest with you.
I just mean like after the whole like leak thing, or did they
Yeah.
not know it was Noah? Or
Well, no, they did. Like most people in Survivor Michigan at the time really blamed it mostly on Abby. Like
right,
it was mainly blamed on Abby by pretty much everybody. So like no one was really
right,
that worried
okay.
about that, to be honest, because the way people perceived it would be the same way that they'd be concerned about like me living with Cooper. Like people just were like, it doesn't seem like that kind of thing is happening, and like if it is, it's opening such a bigger can of worms that like, you know what I mean? Like if Noah's telling Bailey everything, like what is Ian telling Cooper? Like Katie also lived with Leia. Like there was at least multiple producers like spending time in the houses of like people who
And
were
it's,
like
it's
in the game,
interesting how you lived with Cooper, and yet the real leak in Cooper's house was a completely different roommate. Interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Shout
The
out,
biggest leak
John.
was Cooper not locking his fucking door and letting
This
Leia
is-
find his advantage. That's
my
the biggest
God.
leak for
When
sure.
I saw
But
John, I did for
the
a
lying is
second
wrong.
go. When I saw John for a second, I went, "Who is this? Like, is this
Should
Sam
I
in
know
really
him?
bad?" I was like, "Is this Sam in really bad lighting? Like, is this Andrew? What happened?"
But Cooper doesn't believe him. Like,
This will still happen at some point, just like the bonus scenes will still
Episode 0.
happen. It was gonna be like all the pre-gaming, basically.
Oh my god.
Well,
Sorry.
it's the episode 0 though is like it's like an entire episode of irony. Like there's a whole scene about Sam and Aaron meeting and how they're gonna work together, and like it's all basically people meeting up who like never work together in the game and like saying all this stuff that doesn't come true. So it's kind of like a gag, but it does go into like the day one vote out sort of, but all that kind of stuff. Episode 0, the bonus scenes, unfortunately, has fallen by the wayside right now, just because I need to like make sure the actual like episodes are like completely done and like ready to go, and I'm having like end game kind of like worry, just like needing them to be perfect, So I need to
Ian-
like get ahead of myself with that a bit
Ian,
first. But
this is an insane question to ask. Did people film themselves having conversations before the game ever began?
yes, oh yes,
You know, I think
hours
it's-
upon hours of them. Oh, there's so much footage you wouldn't believe. There are people who had more footage pre-game than they had in the game.
you know, it's so interesting.
I
how
believe
in
Will
this
Bentz had
episode,
at least 8 to 12 hours of footage pre-game. Maybe
you know, it's
more.
so interesting how in the game we're seeing these people go, "This game is too much. Like, I've got to find a job. I have all these other
I
responsibilities."
know, yeah.
Girl, what is wrong with you?
I believe the
let's-
earliest All-Stars Confessional was filmed in March of 2019. So that would be 6 months before the
Who
game
filmed
began.
it? Who filmed it? Expose them, Ian.
Who filmed it?
No spoilers for episode
No,
0.
they filmed it.
My money's on Tom.
Oh well, I support Tom
That's
doing it.
That's a pretty big.
No, but
that's
Tom
a
did
big
start
guess.
filming stuff in like June, so he also started pretty early.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
Wow.
that's
I will
crazy
never-
to me.
Tom was crazy pregame.
Yeah. So yeah, people
Very
are
different
nuts,
than all
bro.
our stars.
Our Michigan people are crazy, dude. They're absolutely crazy. Like,
Well, here's a real question: which one did Cooper pick
what do you mean?
of the 2 job offers?
Oh, well, he lives in New York now,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
that seems like it answers its own question. Yeah.
Okay, fuck you. I was just asking. Oh my god.
He picked the one that was in New York. Sorry.
Duh.
I guess
probably
you
in the
probably
other
didn't know
room.
that. Yeah. Yeah, Cooper always watches these from the other room while I'm like on this shit, which is kind of funny.
Oh my god, Cooper's here listening to it. You still live with Cooper?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cooper and I still live together. He's been loving all the fans. You know, he's been such a fan favorite throughout the season. So he's been enjoying it so much. You know, he just loves watching the episodes and everyone praising him. It's been great.
Honestly, I get why people don't want to watch themselves in these shows.
It's hard.
It's hellish.
Oh yeah, that's something that I think I forgot about it just because like it'd been so long since season 4 came out, and maybe I'm not as personally close with most of season 4 people, but like I forgot how like traumatizing.
Why wouldn't they
this
be
was gonna
close to production, Ian?
I
Sorry.
wasn't around for season 4, but like I forgot how like personally traumatizing this is for everybody in the show, and that's been like I think I thought everyone was gonna be like more of like a victory lap sort of feeling about the whole thing, but definitely lots of the cast have been like, dude, yo, this is so hard to watch, you know.
Not me. I love watching Survivor Michigan. Both of my on-screen experiences have been fantastic.
Oh yeah, you just love every episode, right?
I
Yeah.
really
Honestly,
do.
season 3 is a
The
great
Ben
season.
Bomb episode is your favorite one.
It's so good. Go back and rewatch that one all the time.
I mean, I think the craziest part of Survivor Michigan is what people will willingly talk about on camera.
You have no idea. You have no idea the things I've cut out. Oh my god.
I don't even want to imagine. Like,
Oh my god, bro. Some of the things that have been
Yeah.
said at challenges this season are so out of bounds of like what anyone should want to know about each other that like you really wouldn't believe it. You really truly wouldn't
it's
believe
real
it.
heinous shit.
It is really like one of the more funny parts of an editing job is like just realizing like how much shit you cut out that's like truly horrible.
I think people forget the cameras on sometimes, like, or
And
I
they
don't
film
know.
Yeah,
themselves,
totally.
which is a crazy. They go home, they turn on the camera and go, "I'm gonna say the most rancid shit right now about this girl." I think, and
There's
then it's like,
in one of the bonus scenes has a scene called Kevin shits on everyone, where Kevin is saying some truly deranged stuff, and I'll tell you that's the censored version of that scene. There's like a version of that scene that was deemed never to be seen by public eyes because the stuff he was saying was just like, what is this? And I showed it to a few people and they were like, that should not be seen by like public society. But like I asked Kevin many times, I was like, were you like on something when you filmed this? He's like, no. There's other people like that too. It's Survivor Michigan. People were like, let's go hardcore and roast everybody.
Yeah. And this is like not even for $1 million.
and
like,
these are
50.
again, everyone like friends on some level.
Yeah.
Which is-
Everyone wants to be a character, you know, like season 1 and 2 had come out. Everybody wanted to get that fan favorite status, you know.
Not Aaron. Never Aaron. No one from season 3 wanted that title. They went.
Well, I feel like we've pretty much wrapped it up here. Do you guys have any last bold predictions, big thoughts on anything?
Brady's coming into the game and he's gonna win.
How about that shot of Brady like on the like whatever
that was pretty
Statue
epic.
of Liberty? Yeah.
Love Brady.
I enjoyed Brady's commentary during the challenge.
Oh, you know what I'm excited for? Can Shannon please just tell me who the fuck has this idol? If she comes on one more time and says, one of them has a real, one of them has a fake, I'm going to lose my shit. Ugh.
Yeah. Who do you think has it?
Emily.
Yeah. Because it's a frog and that's the noise is funnier.
You guys think Andrews is just
so
too
much attention on whether or not it's been like we didn't even get to Emily having it. Like she didn't say anything about it this episode. Like it was all Andrew.
What do you mean? She was talking about how she's gonna play it and take out Bailey.
Oh, that's true. But I think like
she's not analyzing it as much.
Andrew's constantly here's my thing. Andrew is constantly talking about whether or not it's real or fake. If Emily B planted the fake, she wouldn't have to be debating whether or not hers is real.
And that's why Shane went to Carnegie Mellon. Okay.
Interesting.
I was a music
That's the
major.
Scotty
Let's-
difference, I guess,
let's
right
get
there.
this right. I got a BFA. Like
That's why we went to state schools.
I'm
Yeah, yeah. That's the Scotty Survivor difference right there.
I just think Emily B has it because it's much funnier for Andrew to have a fake idol, and to be so
I
confident.
agree. I think it would be funnier for Emily B to have 2 fake idols both of her seasons.
I just,
Literally a stuffed Lorax.
I don't know. I just think it would be funny. I can't. Also, the advantage of her getting voted out, of like when I get voted out, I can
Yeah,
use
Oh,
it.
the right of revenge.
Such
yeah.
a dick move, really, as an advantage. Like that's
Whose
such
idea
a
was that?
shit advantage.
Yeah, it's not very useful. It's not particularly
Who
useful.
came up with that? I just want to know.
Austin came up with it. But
Love
I think it's a good
Austin.
advantage though. I think I like the revenge like aspect of it. You know, it adds like something nice thematically. But like as a player getting it is not the most useful thing in the world.
It
Yeah.
would be a good advantage if you could. I mean, we're not debating this, all right? We're not putting it in a new game. But if it was like you could give it to an eliminated person, like as they're getting voted out, you give it to them and they can vote. Because when you're stuck with it and you have to be voted out for it to be useful, at that point, I don't give a fuck. I have it.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the
I was
that's the biggest
actually-
problem with it. It's
I
just
was
that,
just
like,
gonna say, I think it would be so funny if she like gave that away to somebody and then voted them out.
You can't give it away. That's the thing.
But that's annoying.
How long does it last? Like,
I believe the last time it can be played is at Final 5.
Oh shit!
So if you make it to Final 4, if you're voted off at 5, no, you can't. I'd have to check. I'm pretty sure the last time it can be played is at Final 5. So like it's not good for the Final 4 vote, but it's good for the Final 5 vote.
that's an insane amount of power if you get voted out.
actually, I think that makes it worse.
Yeah.
So at 5, it makes it 6 votes in total. I
Uh,
think at 4, making it 5 votes in total is much more effective because then
Like-
it's like 2 people can have the advantage.
I'd honestly have to double check exactly which one.
Austin, if this advantage can only be used up until the final 5 tribal, like that's when the vote can be counted, bad advantage. If it can be used at the final 4, good
like,
advantage.
I can
what-
figure it out right now.
Like, what happens if it's like played at the final 5? It's a tie. Like, does that person get a revote? Like,
Ian, we gotta know this.
I'm
It's going to
looking it
matter.
up. I'm
When
looking it up.
Emily B gets voted out, I can
She's
see
not
Emily
getting
B
voted
going to
out.
the final 3 and never mattering.
yeah, I feel like that's more than likely.
I'm looking it up right now, exactly what the rules were for it. The last time it can be used is the Final 5 tribal. That's what I said. If you're voted out, 50
Boo,
advantage
bad.
expires. If you're voted out, 50 advantage expires. This is your chance for
Ugh.
revenge. Use it wisely.
Well, I can't wait to see the rest of the season.
yeah, me too.
Because I know at a certain point my faves are all going to be gone. So people I dislike have to leave.
If
I
nothing
thought-
else, you know that somebody you dislike will get voted out at some point.
There
It's
can only
happening
be
next
3
week.
at most.
It's
Yeah.
happening next week. We're gonna get it. It's gonna
Yeah.
come.
And yeah, I mean, I hope no one gives up on the season. If you made it this far, you may as well power through to the end, because otherwise you will be missing out on some really, really crazy shit. And I do think that this couple of episodes in here, you know, is at one point it was discussed, should we combine it? Should we just make like the Sarah and Kevin Boots one episode? I said no.
Oh
We
my
shouldn't
god,
do that.
that's a hellish idea. Because you know how long that would be? Like 2.5 hours.
Well, no, the idea would have been, oh, we make it like we do them both like short, you know,
Look,
like
Here's my thing. It's like it's
Shane, put
frustrating
that
as
hat
you-
back on. How dare you?
My head's itchy.
go back and people should go back and watch season 1. Every single Survivor Michigan majority stuck together for like 2 or 3 votes and then blew up.
Ian,
Every
here's-
single one.
Here's my thing. Like, I am frustrated by these players, but I think what you've done such a good job on is like really giving each individual player like their arc. Like, for example, like Kevin's exit last week, like it like kind of came together perfectly. And like seeing how like Sarah like got kind of screwed over by Cooper, like it all just
Just
Cool.
kinda.
yeah, well, did. It just clicks, and it's making for like a really cool final product. I really am enjoying what's being put on the screen. So thank you. 'cause,
Oh, I
like,
loved how you really stretched out, like in Sarah's In Memoriam, like you really stretched out her one episode in season 1 to make that like a lengthy part of the In Memoriam.
Well, everybody has
was
the
very
same
impressive.
amount of it's like everyone has the same amount of time for their previous season and then the All Stars. So for
Yeah,
Sarah,
Dylan gets a highlight of season 3, and Sarah gets however much we can scrap from
I
episode one.
considered like giving her more All-Star stuff and less season 1 stuff, but I was like, that feels like it takes away from like the point of it. Like it seems like what we want is more clips of her from season 1. That's the nostalgia, you know? Like we've
That would have been such a funny gag of like you
if it just didn't
have
show her in season 1. That
If
would
you
Show
just,
one
like,
clip of season
Yeah,
one.
you just have her like
I
maze
do have
offline.
a minor gripe with George though. One of the clips I included in that of Sarah saying at the end of the tribal council, "Oh, we're not going to be friends," isn't in episode 1 of season 1. And I heard Sarah say this in a confessional somewhere in All Stars. I think it's in the bonus content. She mentioned that this exists, and she's like, "Yeah, they didn't put it in the episode." And I was like, "What? How could they not put in something so funny? Does that maybe it got cut off?" I went back and found the footage from season 1, and I was like, "She did say that. Why was that not included?" George, I have my bone to pick with you. You
Redo
did not-
season 1 over again.
You did not give Sarah her great parting shot line. I guess we're not going to be friends, which is such good foreshadowing for All Stars. And then she gets fucked over by a friendship alliance. George, my man, what did you do here? You need to retcon that.
That
clip
should have
back
been
into season 1.
Ian,
Sarah the original. It's personal. We're here.
you
for
should
it.
have. That
Oh,
should have been
true.
her intro line.
No, I think it
Really?
would have been. It totally. I think it would have been because
I
it
think
would have
also-
fit.
I think it would have maybe dissuaded your fears a little bit about Sarah. Like people would have been like, "Oh, she's iconic. That ending line was great."
Those fears seem insane now, but it's hilarious that I was literally saying at the time.
You
You
know,
guys should
Ian
ask Sarah at
said-
some point. Sarah also was not certain she was. I remember Sarah being like, "Oh, I don't know if people are gonna like me, blah blah blah." Like the first boot, yada yada. And I had to like, I was trying to tell her, everyone's gonna love you, Sarah. You got
I
it.
don't know. A woman being strategic and sassy on a college survivor, I can't see her being well liked.
Well, I mean, look, like I also thought people were gonna like Leia and Bailey a lot more than they have. So I don't know if maybe I'm
Girl,
necessarily the one
don't
to judge.
fucking lie to yourself. Are you kidding? You watched season 7 of Survivor Maryland and went, someone advocating for a friendship alliance. That's gonna go over well.
No, I mean I knew people would
Yeah,
hate. I knew people would hate Leia's list, but I thought
Which-
people might like Leia before that point. It was when people were out of there before that I started being like, oh wow, they're gonna really hate Leia's
It was
list.
when she went after Akshay. I lost it.
Oh. Episode 1 on Leia, love her. Queen. Episode 2, I hate her.
She has a lot of. I was like Leia is like this you know, she's like this powerful bisexual woman in the Marines. Like she's like running all this shit, talking shit about people. I thought people would be more into it a little bit. I knew people would hate Leia's list though. That I did know for sure. But you can't predict everything. But I predicted these Sarah stands, so I will stand on my totem pole on that one.
Sarah stands rise up for
It's
sure.
me. I'm Sarah Stans.
I'm a part of the Cooper coalition, so I honestly I don't care who hates Cooper. I don't know why people suddenly hated Cooper. I stand with
This also, yeah. If you want more Sarah and Emily Paddock, Survivor
okay,
New
let's stick to just Sarah.
York.
Honestly, the
I
worst
forgot
thing
this
Sarah
is like
did this
the
season,
anti-Emily Paddock brigade over here.
well, it was just like, yeah, literally. But when Sarah votes out Aaron and goes, "This is for Emily,"
Yeah, I was not happy about
Sarah
it.
that's
did-
good
Sarah
TV,
did-
bro. That's
when
good
that-
TV.
When that episode aired, Sarah did text me an apology for that
No,
voting
that was very nice
confessional.
of her.
That's good TV, bro. She that's not why she voted off
Sarah
Aaron.
does
She
know
didn't
No,
care about that.
it's not. She literally said she was like, I was just really playing into the revenge tour theme, which is like
Which
totally
is
valid.
good.
I love Sarah to death. She's
Team
amazing.
team good TV. We are here for that here.
All of these people with really entertaining, like everything, are getting voted out. It's making me sad.
I want to respond really quick. I know it's not about this, but Anime Lover 22 Full, of course, my bestie, says, "Do I support Cooper even if he reminds me of Doug?" And I want to be clear. I like Doug. I'll be in the vocal minority of that too. I fucking love Doug. I brought him back. All right. I
Doug
don't give a-
stands rise
I
up.
cannot wait
Like
to watch
Doug
Doug.
too, I'm
When
not
Doug,
gonna lie.
when the first episode of Maryland season 8 is like a 2.5 hour episode where Doug like double eliminates like Sherry and Katie like back to back, I will be in heaven. I'll be like, this is the best season of Survivor of all time, and I'm
And
pretty sure.
I'm gonna say this right now, as someone who's working so fucking hard on this next season. It's so good, and I know I cannot wait for people to be fucking pissed at everything for no reason. All right. Here's the thing about you fans: 1 week you love it all, the next week you go, "Well, this fucking sucks because blah blah blah." You know what? I don't give a fuck. All right. last week everyone was going, fuck Cooper, fuck these people, blah blah blah. And this week it's fuck these people. Next week, watch how, I don't know, fucking Emily B and Megan kill Sam, and it's gonna be Emily B is a queen. Fuck it. Leia kills Sam, Leia's a queen again. Watch it. The
People were
waves are gonna
close.
move.
When Leia like snuck into Cooper's bedroom, there was a lot of comments that were like, "Am I gonna have to support Leia now? Like she's almost making me want to root for her." Like, I'll say this, it's like there's a lot of comments I've been seeing that like they lied to us. Like all the Michigan like people lied to us when they said this season was like the best of our Michigan season. I was like, bro, you asked a single person from Michigan, they would have all told you 1000% this was the best of our Michigan season. And I think they will all still stand by that probably when it's done. So we'll have to see if people agree or not. But like, I don't think no one from Survivor Michigan was lying when they said that. I mean, maybe Erin didn't think it was the best for her own personal like game. But like,
I also think
I also don't think season 3 is the best. So
let's
also
be
not
clear.
done.
It's
We still
hard
have
to
7
evaluate.
episodes.
It
is hard to evaluate mid-season.
Mid-season.
100%.
Like,
oh,
once
yeah.
we know who wins, we can evaluate what is the story to get them here. Like, for instance, if I don't know who's probably the worst edited person on this season. I guess Leia. Like if Leia wins, I would go, well, maybe some questionable decisions because it makes us feel like Leia's wrong. Like it was fucked up for so many things. But if like Megan wins or Andrew wins or like Bailey wins, whatever, then it's like
I was about to say that.
anyways, it's like we have to see how it ends. I get I'm so pissed right now, but guys, Michigan isn't bad. Let's be clear. This All-Star season isn't bad. Have some of the episodes had probably the worst decisions I've ever seen made? Yeah, like Erin being taken out. It doesn't make it bad. It just makes me look at these players and say, you're bad and I hate you. But the show's great.
That's another week we haven't talked about. Sarah and Nick could have not voted off Erin and done something else there, and they might have been in. They had all the power of that vote.
Yeah, and Adam could have not voted against Erin and Dylan, or I don't know. They all could have voted against Sam the first week.
Adam, it's like
I don't need logic here. Akshay should have stayed week 1.
All I'm saying is week 5.
Can I make
Sarah
an
and Nick had the
apology?
power. Week 6, Sarah and Nick had the power. They were not powerless throughout this game. They had chances to do things.
I do need to make an apology. I know we're an hour and 50 minutes into this, but I am sorry for being critical of Lucy. First week, I was so big on Akshay. To see him go, I was like anyone else. But I've realized Lucy is a queen. She deserved better. And the fact that she got eliminated at any point is also a travesty.
Stop sending Anders hate mail.
Honestly, stop sending
I want to hear you say the same thing when Emily B wins not only this season, but the next 3 seasons of Survivor Michigan that she all got brought back for. I better hear you say the same thing and agree that she's the best player of all
don't
time.
dislike Emily B. Me as a person, I typically am pretty one or the other. Emily B is so neutral for me because, again, not too much there for me. If Emily B wins this season, I'll be gooped, I'll be gagged, and I'll be surprised. And I'll just be like, I guess I was wrong. Which is shocking.
I agree with Lucy. I was really mad when Akshay got taken out. But when it was between like Lucy, Andrew, and Leia, I was like, was I with you, Ian? I think I was with you. I was like, please let it be Leia. Like, please.
The phantom vote. Ooh. But I guess it would have been Andrew without the phantom vote.
Yeah, which I wouldn't have liked either. So
yeah.
Another week of Cooper protecting Andrew. Honestly, Cooper's so protective of people. I love that. I do see first episode you asked, do you see Megan or Jackson betraying each other? No. Do I see Andrew betraying Cooper? Yes, absolutely. And I think it would be very funny.
What about Cooper and Leia? Do you think Cooper and Leia would betray each other?
To be honest, I don't want to listen to that conversation of Leia going like, Cooper lied to me, and in my weird, demented decision and persecution of liars, that means he should go. So if it's Cooper getting rid of Leia, if it's Leia getting rid of Cooper, skip.
How would it have been Leia, bro? Lucy was 100%.
Yeah, Lucy was not going to do that.
Lucy, sorry to poke your bubble, but at the end of the day, Lucy was not going to vote off Leia. People should dissuade themselves of that notion.
They followed up and said if Andrew's idol is real.
Oh, my bad. I take it all back. If Andrew Idol was real, so that's a big if. But that also, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Call him out. Call him out.
It's 12:30 here.
Ian,
It's been a
Ian's
long
got his
day.
Leah Michelle moment.
Don't hate me, Argmady.
Leah
I'm sorry.
Michelle moment.
That was tough.
All right,
Yeah, it
who's
was
the
my
Leah Michelle of
moment.
this? Leia. Not that she can't read. It's that she's the meanest one.
So
Dude, my social game with the fans, the moment it peaked, I've said this before, it peaked. And episode 6, when it flashed back and showed that Sarah had a plan to like do something, everyone was like, this is the best editing of all time. And then from that, it went to the cliffhanger episode. And since then, it has been a downward spiral.
It's so nice to see another fan-made Survivor just go from love to hate, because season 7 was a rough ride, baby.
I'm sure it was.
I'm just excited for the next cliffhanger.
No, there will
Personally.
not be any more. There will not be any
Oh my
more
god.
cliffhangers. Could you imagine?
Imagine if that happened in this episode.
Oh my god, people would have. I'd have to hide.
Did you issue
Go
an
into
apology
witness protection.
No, but I thought about it. I did type out a whole apology in the Discord, and
in
then
your notes
decided
app and
not
you were
to.
about to tweet it out?
Yeah. In Discord, I typed a whole one out and then decided not to send it because I decided it was a bad idea.
Don't ever.
No, people are being bitter. It's like
No, if
No,
Shane's saying they're being bitter, I'm actually switching sides. They are justified.
I will say next week's episode is one of those, like, I have been waiting for this episode for so long for people.
Oh
to
yeah,
see it.
Megan's going
So-
home.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no spoilers. You never know. But the next couple are just that's when the shit starts to hit the fan. You know, in a way that I find personally to be very satisfying. We'll see if people agree, but we'll see if people agree or not. But yeah.
somebody said Leia is Michigan's Rachel Berry.
She is. She
No,
is.
honestly, that's so funny. It's like that line from Kurt where it's like, she may be difficult, but damn can she sing. And it's like, kind of, yeah. Like, everybody's like, I hate working with Leia. Like, she's so hard to work with, but like, they're doing it anyway. And she is like, she's getting done what she wants to get done. So like, yeah, go off.
And every episode has like 18 confessionals from her. And she's here.
Maybe one day people will turn around on Leia and be like, Leia's
No.
list ahead of its time. It was a genius strategy.
You hold out hope, Ian.
I mean,
maybe-
I at the time I also was very anti Leia's list when I was on production. I thought it was completely ludicrous and like really dumb.
Naomi, release the Futurama comparisons.
Oh yeah, Jackson was Zap Brannigan for sure.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
All right, I think we got to wrap this up. Do we need to do the Futurama
please.
compare? I don't know if we.
I don't know if we'll
Futurama
find it in time.
comparisons.
It's fine.
Anders can text it to me.
Yeah, you can just post it in the Discord. You know,
No, I'm just gonna text it to Aaron,
Discord will never know.
along with all of my
Futurama
insulting things I've said about her for the past 3 months.
I'm
Well,
used to that.
Thank you guys for coming on. This has been wonderful having you.
thank
Yeah, I
you.
hope you guys enjoy the rest of the season. I hope everyone.
Oh, you don't
keeps
want us to
keeping-
plug anything? You're just gonna
No,
end
no.
it here?
Oh no. Plug away. I always love the plugs.
Well, if you hate this season, you're gonna hate Survivor Maryland season 7. I'll say this: if you've ever really wondered how does friendship go into this game, it's a beautiful examination into that. All right, you may not love the decisions that are made, but guess what? You weren't there. You don't get to feel it, but you do get to see how it affects
Dude,
people. It's a
people were
great season.
People were too hard on that season, dude. That's some wild shit. The last couple, the finale of that was some crazy shit.
It's a good. The
I was
characters are
riveted.
fun.
No,
It's
it's a
horrible for
character
some-
study. I was riveted. I was genuinely riveted.
Every episode is like Sarah getting voted out. But also Survivor Maryland season 8. It is coming. When? Don't ever ask me that. When it's ready, okay? It's getting there.
Anders, when is it coming? I need to know right now. Can you give
It's
me?
gonna be a great season.
Tell me
I'm so
2000.
excited.
Tell me it's happening in 2023.
Look, I'm trying to get it done as soon as possible. All right. And when it's out, it'll be out, baby. And you'll all fucking hate it. I'm kidding. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so good.
Anders, just so you know that if Katie and Doug get voted off 1 and 2, then I will not watch the rest of the season because it'll be ruined.
I am telling you, you will watch this season. All right.
How do you know?
Katie
You
win.
don't know.
Katie win.
You don't know, bro. I could stop watching, bro.
Katie on win
I
part
would love
2.
that.
Ian,
please.
if you don't watch this season and I had to sit through All Stars, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, I watch every minute. Do you know how many college survivors I watch? It would be wild if I didn't watch that season.
Sure,
But
you gotta
obviously I
watch it.
will.
Shane, you do your pitch.
Oh God. Well, go watch Scotty Survivor seasons 1 and 2, but mostly 2.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I like 2 more than 1. I'm just gonna be real, but that's also because I am narcissistic and edited too. So, but yeah, they're really fun. I think 2 is like more of this like exploring really weird, wacky gameplay. And season 3 is also wacky and coming out in, I'm gonna just say summer because I don't know when.
But the trailer's out. Watch the trailer.
Yeah, but it'll be more like fall because I did not anticipate having a lot more work than I did. So,
Ugh, me when I have too much work and I'm getting paid too much money. Hate it.
I'm not getting paid too much money. Let's I live at home. Let's be real.
Aaron, what are you
wanna
gonna plug?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll also plug watch Maryland season 7 and the post shows. There might be a pretty friendly face on those post shows.
And Aaron's also there, yeah.
Yeah, right. Argue a lot say that the post shows are better than the actual season. So
I
you
don't
get
think that's true.
some enjoyment out of that. But no, definitely keep watching. Keep watching Survivor Michigan All Stars. Go back, rewatch the earlier episodes. Like keep watching
The ones
future
with Aaron.
episodes.
Just rewatch
Yeah,
the ones with Aaron.
actually,
and
just
then-
keep rewatching the pre-merge.
Yeah,
and you can
watch the
stop
episode
watching
that's
the rest.
good for Aaron in Survivor Michigan All Stars, which is
in episode
No.
4, Will gets voted out. That's a good episode for
Oh.
Aaron.
oh my god, the Emily P and then Will getting voted out. I was like, maybe the season's pretty fucking good.
But no, don't give up on this season. Absolutely don't. You're allowed to be mad. You're allowed to have your feelings about whatever's happening. But honestly, whatever you do, just support Ian Harris because he is so talented and he puts so much time and effort into everything here, and he deserves your attention and your love, and you should continue giving him that.
Oh, that was nice of you,
So true. Couldn't agree more.
Boo, you're not gonna be in All Stars 2.
dude. Crouch. This has definitely been the longest
We
the
talk a
longest of
lot.
these after shows. Yeah.
Crouch, we were too busy talking about how much you're going to win and how it's going to
Yeah,
work. And we
Andrew,
stepped
we
away.
literally talked about it for a while.
Yo,
Ian-
true story with this buy Ian a beer stuff. Back when I agreed to edit season 2, I hope somebody sees this who is involved in this. Back when I agreed to edit season 2, at that point in time, I hadn't agreed to edit anything else. And when I got close to finishing it, Sam and Cooper were like, "Hey, well, we should buy you a round of beers for like editing this season of Survivor because that was nice of you."
That's it?
Cut to like whatever 5 years later. Not only did they never buy me those beers, but they never bought me those beers. So that's all I'm saying. That when this is all said and done, somebody should definitely buy me a beer. But yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming on. I'm gonna turn off the live broadcast now so we can have our real chat. But this has been great. Survivor Mission After Show. Stay tuned for more, great stuff coming up.